Getting any younger, forever still so far away, but I just can't help but wonder if you leave me here one day.
Hi team, welcome back to me. How are we all doing? Lyle, nerd. Do you like my setup? Do you like this? Do you like this thing here? This thing's pretty cool. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome. How are we all doing? How's everyone's lives been? What date is it today? It's a Monday. Okay. Oh, it's in England. We have a bank holiday Monday today, so I've had no work, and I thought, what happened to me? Am I not at World Champion? Worlds is finished. I'm home. This is my home. How many purified Tinas do I have? 0. I have nil. I have none. I don't have the energy for that, Henry. I don't have the energy. I haven't played the game in a while, and 2 days ago someone reminded me that the season was ending in a week, and I was still veteran in GBL. So I could do some battles. I'm really not that fussed. I played a little bit. I played the last 2 days of GBL. So if anyone is queuing into me in GBL, that's why I've been so low in ELO. It's a late push. I don't know what leagues we're currently in. I think we were in Master League. I think I was playing, but I'm not sure. Can someone quickly check so I've got like my YouTube stream as well, and on my YouTube stream it looks like I'm on fire, but I can't tell if that's just my computer messing up or if my YouTube stream does make me look funny. Your favorite consistent streamer? Thanks, Axon. I appreciate you. Axon, do you know what someone told me today? I got messaged, right? And they said, did you know that Axon doesn't follow you on Twitter? And I was like, doesn't he? And I don't know if it's true. I didn't actually remember to check. But if that's true, Axon, then just let it be known I'm taking that personally. Thank you, Pocket. Appreciate you. Appreciate the sub, dude. Oh, do I post anything good on Twitter? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Axon. That's outrageous. I am there reading you begging for new friends on Twitter every other week. And do I post anything good on Twitter? That's crazy. Okay? That's crazy. I'm just checking to see if I posted anything recently. Yeah, I retweeted the level news, and I posted a funny video of me and Martine, and I posted a really nice eulogy to Beelzeboy. Thank you very much. And a nice picture. What are you talking about? Freed, can you acknowledge my team request redeem? Team request triple Tapu. I have Tapu for Master League. I have Tapu Fini. I've almost got a Tapu Lele. And I don't think I've got a Bulu or a Coco. Yeah, what does Axon post? Let me check. Let's have a look, guys. Let's have a look. Come with me. Come with me. Oh, I'm Axon, and I'm going to pin a post from August 2023. Nerd. I did not see this coming. Super exciting news. How much XP are we going to need for level 80? Those are the eyes that he's posting. We're back! The max finale is such a gross and blatant cash grab. It's been nothing but big raid event after raid event recently, and I'm sick of it. First Zacian and Zamazenta, then Solgaleo Lunala, Origin Palkia and Dialga, and now this. These ultra unlocks have felt more like punishments. Cry, but still will play 8 hours per day. Scroll. Catch Cup is going to be rough with my Aegis/Regidrago Komo from Community Day, my 1497 high rank Shadow Giratina. Right, I'm only joking. I actually like Axon a lot, so please don't take this seriously, guys. Okay, let's go and have a look at some of the news that everyone has been messaging about for the last couple of hours. And that is, boom. Prepare for Pokemon GO's new and rewarding level journey. Which I think is exciting because it's a news update that a lot of people have been hyping up or discussing for so long, is when are we getting new levels? You post bangers, yeah. Look, leveling up in Go has been something we've been talking about for ages, and it's nice to see, on one hand, that new levels are coming. I'm not a cynical person, but there's not really been anything that I've seen so far in this announcement that has, for me, been particularly exciting, beyond the fact that we are getting new levels and beyond the fact that the level increase is higher than we expected it to be. I feel like a lot of us were thinking they'll go to level 60 and then every few years they might increase it, and that's how they'll create a forever game, whereas because they've gone straight to level 80, I think that in itself has caused a lot of hype. But a lot of the details around this level change, we'll go through it in a second, but a lot of the details on the face of it, when I first flicked through them, I was thinking, this is somewhat underwhelming in my mind, but I'm willing to go through. I'm willing to hear what you guys think. Lyle, what do you want? Are you streaming, Lyle? If you want to jump in Discord or something, I can work out how to get you in. Okay, but let's just take a look and just see what we think, right? So firstly, this is starting on October the 15th, and anyone who isn't level 50 right now has a certain amount of time until October 15th to get as many levels as they want, because my understanding is that you will get a badge, a medal, that will say what your highest level was prior to this update. So it is probably possible to get a ton of XP, and the last time we had a level increase from 40 to 50, we had a series of events in the lead up to get people as much XP as possible. So I wouldn't be surprised if we've got announcements, if we've not had them already, that there will be a lot of XP available over the next 2 months. The level cap is increasing from level 50 to level 80, and the overall leveling curve from level 1 to 80 will be rebalanced, and players can earn levels more frequently. Tasks for level up research for levels 41 to 50 will be removed. Okay, so that's the first big one, and I've seen some complaints from this. I actually think Speedy's tweet is actually on my right-hand side here, in which he's not happy. What did he say? He said, I think this is very sad. Having fun and challenging tasks to level up encouraged players to explore core gameplay mechanics and made the game feel less like an endless XP grind and more like a well-rounded user experience. I really hope they A, reverse this decision, they won't, or B, implement tasks akin to the level 40 to 50 system throughout the new level 80 system, and not just levels 71 to 80 as mentioned in the blog post. Well, I think they have said that. They have said tasks to level up research for levels 41 to 50 will be removed, the overall leveling curve from level 1 to 80 will be rebalanced and players can earn levels more frequently. And I would assume that just simply means that where we had a grind from level 40 to 50, where the amount of XP needed to get to level 40 was, I believe, 12.5% of what you needed to get to level 50, I just imagine it's going to be spread out over the levels a little bit more reasonably. So what does that mean? Why would you need to change that? I wonder if it's a case of, from level 40, we know that that's when you can start powering Pokemon up to level 50. We obviously don't have access to the data. I wonder if newer players cannot power Pokemon up to level 50 until they hit, what is it, level 40? Something like that. You can do 10 levels above your level or something. I can't remember exactly what it is. If I'm wrong, shout. So my understanding is currently you cannot power Pokemon up to level 50 until you've hit level 40. So let's think about this from an acquisition of new players perspective. You can't get a new player a level 50 Pokemon until they're at level 40. What if you make it easier to get to level 40? You lower the barrier to entry for a new player to be able to power up to level 50, and instead you spread the grind across more levels. I wonder if that is in any of their thinking, or if it would still take the same amount of XP to get to level 40, and it's actually the levels between 40 and 50 that are reduced in XP. Yeah, Trent, I think you're Lyle, what do you mean send a gift? You've not opened my last gift. So, in my mind and in my understanding, those people that play Pokemon Go a lot are not going anywhere. And I think, if anything, we've evidenced that somewhat with the Eternatus weekend, right? Quite frankly speaking, I'm not going to tweet hate about the game because I just don't really see the point. As in, it's just been so long that we've had to deal with stuff that I've just... Oh, Sergio, you're getting a really nice Worlds gift because I haven't sent any, and so I'm going to give you a sticker with it, so make sure to save it. Okay, so I've seen and read so much feedback about the Eternatus event that was negative that I wonder what needs to happen for people to realise that you shouldn't be spending this much money on a weekend event. Like, it's crazy. And the problem is that when people do, and when they continue to do this, it just shows that they can get away with anything, right? They can put any event on, and because they monetize FOMO in the way that they do, it's... I don't know, it's just a shame to see that being the direction that it's going in. And so my understanding, or at least my thinking, was that one thing that needs to be focused on is bringing new players in. And maybe this level increase isn't just to give people... okay, I'm sending. Isn't just to give the players that play all the times a new challenge, because realistically, most of you are playing all the time anyway, right? I wonder if part of the thinking really does center around how do you make this a more inviting game for new players. Oh my god, why do you all want gifts? Okay. Tasks for level up research. Okay, new level up research tasks will be added level 71 to 80. Now, 71 to 80 gives me the understanding or impression that anyone who's currently at level 50 will probably jump straight to level 70. And the tasks that we've had to date from levels 41 to 50 might be spread out or added to between levels 50 and 70. So if you're already at level 50, I wouldn't be surprised if we're taken to level 70. Players at level 70 and higher have an increased chance of becoming lucky friends with other players. Okay, is that some... Speedy had a comment on that. What did he say? He said, I already have dozens of lucky friends that I'll never likely see in person. Why do we need more? An underwhelming reward for hitting level 70. I don't necessarily disagree with him on that. I think that if I clicked right now, if you all clicked on your friend list right now and tell me how many lucky friends do you have, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a quick poll, okay? And then I want you to just check your lucky friends and then reply on a poll. How many lucky friends do you have? Let me see. Okay, so just type in lucky, and then reply on this. Hopefully that works. And you guys, you can tell me how many lucky friends do you have. So if I went on mine now and I press lucky, wow, my poll's too low. I have 75 lucky friends. 254 lucky friends. So, and this is the thing, Axon, you're exactly right. You get a lucky friend and you've got a 1 in 64 chance of getting a lucky hundo, right? So, the difficulty in you spend so much time waiting to meet up with a lot of these people that for me personally, like, our friends across the world, right? And you do get to do one trade with them. You use up your special trade with them. And then it was 13, 13, 12 or something ridiculous, right? And then I don't get to see them again until the next time I travel to an event. So, lucky friends as the reward, not particularly persuasive for me. I know that they've released the lucky trinket, which can allow you to be lucky friends with anyone at your selection, which is, I think, a cool addition. For me personally, as someone that plays PvP, the IV control with friendship trades is almost backwards. I'm almost not wanting to gain friendship with people most of the time because lucky friends is almost not worth the effort, and PvP IVs are often from the lowest friendship you can get. And I think what's really disappointing is that Galarian Corsola is a Pokemon that would really benefit from having 0 attack. If you can have 0 attack on your Galarian Corsola and you can get max bulk Galarian Corsola, that can win matchups. And so they released the shiny, and I'm like, oh cool, I want a shiny Galarian Corsola with 0 attack. And it's like, you can't get that because you can't special trade 0 friends. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's the only reason that I would be looking to trade, is to get fun Pokemon for PvP that I want to trade with friends when I meet them. Another thing they could remove is the trading IVs distribution. I can't trade PvP mons with locals because of max friendship levels. Yeah, exactly. And so the difficulty here is ultimately that PvP IVs are a bit scuffed as a concept. The way that they implemented stats incoming from the main series games to Pokemon Go, such that the attack IV you want 0 for max bulk, is wrong, right? Like, it's something that now you can't change. Imagine if they said we're changing the way that IVs affect stats. People would lose their mind, right? But you guys, I saw people already losing their minds at the mere idea that Pokemon would be able to be powered up to level 80. So I feel like they've gone too far, and so then they'd have to implement features that are so exclusively designed for the 0.00 whatever percent of PvP players that actively grind for specific PvP IVs, which is not many, that it's just not going to be implemented. Okay, let me just catch up on chat a little bit. They're also releasing remote trading. Yeah, but we'll see how much they do and how they do it. How much money would level 80 Eternatus be? I don't know. How many XLs did I get for Eternatus? Let me have a look at mine. My Eternatus. I have 1,800 XLs, and I believe I needed 8,900, and I just was like, that's not happening. Do you think no IV floors in trades during Go battle weekends would be an option? It's not a bad shout. I'm going to write that down. What was it? No IV floors in trades during Go battle weekends. Okay, I've written that down. Okay. Why would I want no floor after spending a raid pass or from GBL? If they removed only attack floor, then it'd be worth it. I mean, I guess it depends. Sometimes you want max defense, no HP or whatever you want. So I guess that's tricky. Okay, based on previous earned experience. New rewards will be added to level up progression, like increased storage capacity for items, gifts, and Pokemon, and new avatar. This is a good change. This is good. Based on previously earned experience, some players may automatically jump in level on October 15th. Those players will receive rewards associated with reaching those levels at that time. Details about which players will jump in level and by how many levels will be shared later. I wouldn't be surprised if they take people... Well, I've already mentioned that I think they're taking us to 70. I wouldn't be surprised if anyone who gets to level 69 will just refuse to level up from level 69. Like, how many players are just going to celebrate permanently being level 69? I have no doubt. No players will go down in level, but the amount of XP needed to reach the next level may change depending on your current level. Okay, whatever. Okay, by Tuesday, all players will receive a medal. People like medals. And trainers who have reached level 50 can show off their level 50 jacket and an all-new avatar pose highlighting this achievement. I don't think that's anything special. The avatar items by reaching levels 40 through 50 before the update won't be available for leveling up after October the 15th. Okay. Oh, there is an XP celebration event. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, I had a feeling there would be. Okay. That's from today. From today until October 14th, there will be bonuses. 2 times catch XP, extra XP, extra XP. 7 million XP. Reducing the 8-week one to 2-week. Okay, yeah, so they are going to try and help people get up. Oh, and there's naturally a $10 ticket for something. Perfect. Overall, in terms of an announcement that's taken near 10 years, no, not 10 years, I guess let's say 5 years since level 50 or whenever it was. Is this groundbreaking? I'm not someone that personally grinds XP. I hit level 50 just because I didn't want to get bullied in raid lobbies for not being level 50 with my locals. But for those of you that do grind, and I know that lots of you do, are you looking at this change to level 80 and are you filled with excitement? Because right now, this to me is an update that someone would tell me in passing and I'd be like, ah, cool. And I'd forget about it after that. So I'm curious to see what other updates are coming. Next topic of conversation. Will they change PvP? So we saw, I think there was it a blog post from GoHub, something like that, where they said that as part of this update, there would be no changes to the levels that Pokemon level up at. And I wonder if that's going to always be the case. Will level 50 always be the level that a Pokemon maxes at? Level 70 players no longer get one turn lag. Do you know what though? My thinking is that to implement a level change like this, you need to have some kind of framework change, some architectural update in the game, and that would be a great opportunity to fix PvP as well, as part of this massive update that's going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see. In the main series games, Pokemon level up to level 100. Do we already have that in effect by the fact that we have half levels and that we are leveling up Pokemon 100 times because of these half levels? Is that in their mind sufficient to say we've already hit level 100? Trent says, but if you send them to home, they stay at level 50. What happens if you send them at level 49.5? Then what level do they go to? Do they round up? Do they round down? They round down. Crazy. I wonder how they could implement more levels. And I wonder if the CP calculations are based on the fact that our level 50 is main series game level 100, right? I don't know. Lawrence, I don't know. I do not know. So I am curious as to how they could implement it. Hello, Val. How are you? I'm curious as to how they could implement up to level 100. I'm curious if people would want that, if PvP players would want to understand what impact that has on all the resource they've currently invested. You know, Maxwell messaged today, what did he say to me? He goes, I've spent years grinding for these Pokemon. Are you telling me that they won't be available anymore? He wasn't happy at the idea that Pokemon would be leveling up above level 50. And then in terms of the meta, in terms of Great League wouldn't make sense anymore. Would you increase the Great League CP to 3,000? And Ultra League to more, etc., etc.? Would you do that? I don't know. So I don't know if we're expecting to see anything in terms of PvP for leveling, which on the whole is probably a good thing. Guys, I had an idea. Tell me what you think of this idea. Okay. My idea was that obviously the first part of the idea is that we make XLs accessible, that we make Master League accessible. And my idea after that is, what if we were to change the official Play Pokemon circuit to be all leagues, to really reflect who is the best trainer? Because currently, VG and TCG have rotations and regulation changes, and all we have is move updates, which after a while can get a little boring. If all leagues were really accessible, and or if we had rental teams such that all leagues were accessible, however we want to do it, which I've asked for, by the way. Imagine if you had the first 3 months of a season is Great League. The second 3 months of a season is Ultra League. And the third 3 months of the season is Master League. And you can qualify for Worlds in any, right? You can qualify for Worlds in any of them. But then when you get to Worlds, right, your first 4 rounds are in Great League. Your next 3 rounds are in Ultra League. And then the final 3 rounds are in Master League. So you have to be good at Great League to get forward, etc. And then when you're in that final stage and you're on the world stream, you're then competing in Master League with the cool mons. When you get to the grand finals, it's Little Cup. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I proposed. Yeah, perfect. Tom, you're already level 80? Dude, you're level 100 in my heart. Never been in doubt. Would insanely increase the barrier of entry, which is already high. No, we just said this could only work this could only work in an accessible environment, right? Where the game is super accessible, like for example, rental teams. It requires too much prep time unless you're unemployed. Even when the mons are accessible, you need the knowledge of triple the leagues. I mean, but yeah, that's just playing the game, right? We get Great League, Ultra League, Master League in rotation every 3 weeks, and no one plays Ultra League or Master League because they either view it as inaccessible or irrelevant. That's currently how people approach it. And so how do we improve that? How do we make the game more valuable in the day-to-day play? Because right now, I know that there are tons of you, including me, that look at those 2 weeks of the leagues and just go, oh, I can't really be bothered to play this week. And I don't know if that's true, Trent. I don't know if, when you say nobody played it before Play Pokemon either, I don't think that's true. I think nobody played it after XLs were released, because then the resource investment was too high. But I played a lot of Ultra League before XLs came out, I think, from memory. I remember I was an Ultra League player when I first played Factions. But when it was like 500,000 to power up a Ninetales for Ultra League, which then I couldn't use in anything else, like I'm not raiding with my Ninetales, I was like, what? I was like, this doesn't feel like a worthy investment. But we'll see. They're not going to change. Don't worry. They're not changing the competitive format for ages anyway, because they plan everything like 3 years in advance. So I'm just trying to think of ways that we can actually make more of PvP more inviting. And I think that there are so many more casual players that would never build something for Great League, but they have built stuff for Master League, that if Master League had some tangible value outside of the game, I wonder if that would be a more attractive option for people. I don't know. I know that when I used to do some raid server, there were loads of people in there that were obsessed with Master League, for example. AJ, exactly. When it comes to powering something to level 50, the idea of powering a 93 is crazy in my mind. And when it was level 40, you're just like, I'll just build it and I'll build another one if I have to. But now, because it costs so much to get the XLs for a legendary, lots of people don't want to do that. And I completely sympathise with that. And I don't like the way the game is designed in that way at the moment. You can't hear through what? What can't you hear through? Can you hear me okay? Okay, next thing, we've talked about the leveling to 80. We talked about that we're not expecting anything to hit PvP. What we haven't talked about, the ad. Oh, sorry, I forget that Twitch people talk with words that aren't real. I've not streamed in a hot minute. So, firstly, for anyone that watched Worlds, I hope you enjoyed it. It was obviously my first Worlds as a caster, so I enjoyed that experience a lot, and hopefully is the first of more to come. Going forward to next season, I will not compete as much as I did last season. Last season I competed a lot, especially in the US or North America I should say, because I was trying to get Travel Award as a player as well as try and become a Worlds caster, and I was kind of doing a belts and braces approach. Whereas now that I've had one Worlds, I will try and just continue to make sure I'm casting at a level that you guys enjoy and appreciate, and try and consolidate getting Worlds again, because next year's the big one. 30-year anniversary for Pokemon, 10-year anniversary for Pokemon GO, at what will be, or is expected to be, the biggest Worlds event ever in San Francisco. But I will compete because, you know, what's the expression? You still got that dog in you know? And I will compete in the European events that I'm not casting. And if there's a convenient NA event, then I might consider it. But I should be at most of the European events, I think, except for The only one I know I can't do is Prague, because I'm at a wedding that weekend. What else is new? We obviously, in Worlds, had a leak of the move update. Maxi, welcome in, dude, and congratulations. We're just mentioning Worlds, but you had an absolutely insane run, dude, and I'm really proud of you, and I'm really happy for you. Okay, so let's take a look at the mover update. Does anyone, because I've just realized there's no actual blog post yet, does anyone have a link to somewhere where I can showcase what the move updates is? And I can put that up on screen, or we can just go through the PV poke. It's pinned in a group chat. Let me have a look. Thanks, Sergio. I'll get that up. Oh, yes. Okay. Let me just drag all of them across to this screen. And then we'll go through them one by one. Okay. We'll really quickly go through this. Body Slam. It's being buffed, not back up to what it was when we had Prime Lickitung, but halfway. Weather Ball is back up to what it used to be. Confusion energy generation has increased. I'm expecting it to go up by... I'd like for it to go up by at least 2 to be relevant. Dragon Breath has had the parameters swapped. Dragon Pulse has had its energy cost decreased. We'll discuss the exact parameters shortly. Dragon Tail is basically also flipping from damage focused to energy focused. Aerial Ace is getting... It's under buffs, but this is a nerf because it by definition has to be a nerf, and the reason is energy is more valuable than damage as a charged attack, and if the damage is only increasing by 5 and the energy is also increasing, that means the energy is increasing by at least 5, and if both go up by 5, that is a nerf because it becomes less efficient. Drill Peck is getting a buff to 70. This is becoming a clone of Aquajet, Psyshock, Sludge, and as we'll see, there are more moves going to this kind of parameter. Peck generation increased. Sky Attack is getting an energy cost is decreasing, but the damage is also decreasing as well. Ember, this was the one I asked for most. This was top of my list, was to turn this into a Thundershock clone. Flame Wheel, the energy cost is decreased, the power is increasing. Gyro Ball coming down, Leafage going up to become a Shadow Claw clone, Seed Bomb coming down, Rock Slide returning to 75 damage, Smackdown. To be very clear, I'm going to make this very transparent. I did not ask for this one. Okay, this wasn't me. Smackdown is going up to 12. Volt Switch power is going up to 14. Water Pulse is being decreased. Aura Sphere is... Why is this a nerf? Aura Sphere is being buffed. This should be a buff. Yes, the power is coming down, but for some reason this hasn't included the fact that the energy is actually going down as well. Oh, sorry. I need to... What do I need to do? Zoom out a little bit? Sorry. I don't know how to actually scroll on this. Anyway, the other screen, the other pictures are smaller. My world's reaction said otherwise. I think I found it funny. I found it funny to see Smackdown go up. I just don't really see why. It doesn't, I'm like, sure. I don't think Basti's going to be a problem because we didn't have Mudslap when Basti was first around. The only reason I ever brought Shadow Basti to Bologna and to Worlds is because the premium ground type at the time was Gligar. If the premium ground type was a Mudslap user, there's no world in which I would have brought it. Aura Sphere, that should be a buff. Charm is coming down in power by 2. This got a big cheer. Breaking Swipe. The energy cost is increased, but remember that we're now going to 100%. Dragon Breath is... Okay, Yeah, it's a funny way to describe it. It's not a nerf. Dragon Claw is also kind of not a nerf. It is becoming more efficient, just more expensive. Dragon Tail, power's coming down. Aerial Ace is a nerf because the energy cost is being increased. Sky Attack is coming down. This will depend on what the energy is. Ember is becoming a Thundershock clone. Steel Wing is getting a nerf because Sky Attack is getting a buff. And because Sky Attack is getting a buff, if Steel Wing were to stay as it is, Corviknight or Skarmory in particular, would be invited to run Steel Wing and Sky Attack, and they don't want that. Seed Bomb is going to have a power nerf by 10, but an energy drop as well. And then Scorching Sands at the bottom is just having its debuff chance decreased. And then lots of different attack availability. The ones that you can't see on screen include Rock Wrecker Crustle. That was another one that I was like, guys, Rock Wrecker Crustle. Crustle is the only Pokemon other than Rhyperior that can learn Rock Wrecker in the game. So why can't it have it? So Crustle gets Rock Wrecker. Sand Tomb, Flygon and Crocodile I don't think are impactful. Mudslap, Nidoqueen and Torterra, which is funny. Hyperfang, Pachirisu. There's now reasons to go and lucky trade your Pachirisu. Swift Kingdra I think is cool. Trailblaze Dojo is a lot of fun. And Upper Hand Kommo-o, one of the most exciting dragons going into the next meta. And then you can see all of these ones as well. Ignore all Drain Punch additions. None of them are going to be relevant right now. So Aura Sphere on some of these legendaries / mythicals, Sludge Venusaur, and Thunder Punch Dragonite, which is pretty cool. Now, I would say ignore these definitions of buffs and nerfs. And with all due respect to PvPoke, I would say take the energy values and the damage values that are currently in PvPoke with a pinch of salt. They are all speculative. And so we'll go through them, okay? So one by one, if we were to go through the changes here. If I miss any, just column me, okay? So Charm, 13.9. There's no way. There's no way. This was 15 and 6, right? And I've already said energy is more valuable than damage as a fast attack. So if it's coming down by 2 and it were to go up by 2, that would be a buff to Charm. This is proposing that it's going up by 3 from 6 to 9. That's not happening. There's no way. If that happens, I'm quitting streaming. That's easy for me to say. But you see my point, right? Like, that's just not happening. My guess would be 7. I think it will go from 6 energy to 7 energy. And at most, in a crazy world, they could push to 8, which I just still don't think will be the case. That would be 5 charms to 40 energy attacks. That's pretty crazy, right? So I would expect 7. Confusion, yes, 16, 14 is what I think. So this is damage on the left and energy on the right. So I think 14 energy makes sense. 14 energy, so what's 3 times 14? 3 times 14 is 42. So that means that 3 confusions take you to 40 energy, and that would allow a Jirachi to hit Doom Desire after 3 confusions. Why do we want Jirachi to be meta? Well, we've had 1 golden bottle cap, and lots of people immediately go and use it on a shiny Meloetta to take it up to Master League. What if they start introducing mythicals that people might want to use bottle caps on to make PvP relevant? I think if Jirachi is meta, that's a good candidate for bottle caps. Now that it's technically very accessible. Everyone should have a Jirachi. Now you should be able to curate your IVs with a bottle cap as needed. The next change, Dragon Breath is having its parameters swapped, and Dragon Tail is being put at 9.13. The problem with Dragon Tail at 13 is that 2 of its users are what many people regard as degenerate, which is Steelix and Zygarde. Steelix and Zygarde with 13 energy, Dragon Tail would be reaching a Nuke Earthquake 65 after 5 Dragon Tails, which is a little bit strong. It's a little bit too efficient for a Pokemon that's already pretty inaccessible / not necessarily a healthy presence in the way that it's used in the meta. I don't 100% refuse to accept that it could be 13 in the way that I refuse to accept that charm could be 9. And the reason is, if it were 12, which is what I think it will be, I think it will be 12, but if it were 12, right, it would be the exact same overall parameters as Dragon Breath, right? 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 3 would be 12. And the problem with that is that would make it strictly worse than Dragon Breath. Because Dragon Breath, two key reasons why it's strictly worse. Dragon Breath is a one-turn attack and therefore more flexible, right? You'd be able to get out of matchups more quickly, you'd be able to snipe more quickly, damage registers more quickly, etc. B, think about how a breakpoint works. If you hit a Dragon Breath breakpoint and you hit a Dragon Tail breakpoint, your Dragon Breath breakpoint is getting 3 extra damage. Because in the same time it takes your Dragon Tail breakpoint to get that extra damage. And you might argue, okay, Freed, but it's a lot easier to hit a Dragon Tail breakpoint than it is to hit a Dragon Breath breakpoint. That's also true. That is true. But I wouldn't be completely against the idea of, if you make the 3-turn attack better, it invites people to run the 3-turn attack over the more flexible 1-turn attack. And so you give people a reason to pick Dragon Tail over Dragon Breath. You might still go for Dragon Breath, right? If you don't need that extra tiny bit of energy to reach whatever attack you're using, right? 12 times 4 is 48. 13 times 4 is 52. If you're using a 45 energy attack or a 40 energy attack, 40 energy attack, then you might not care about the 13 versus the 12 based on whatever your moveset is, because you still need to do the same number of Dragon Tails. But it would be a little bit uncomfortable for Steelix. It would be a little bit uncomfortable for Zygarde. The only reason why those might not be as taken into account is because Steelix then would have to drop one of Psychic Fangs or Breaking Swipe, and Zygarde Earthquake is great into Steel types, which makes it less RPS into Crown Form Zacian. And with the other options that we'll go through, Earthquake from a Zygarde might not be the worst thing. What if they make it Double Kick? Isn't Double Kick 8-12? Where's Double Kick? Yeah, Double Kick's 8-12. It's not going to be 8-12. We already know it's going to 9 damage. We know that it's going to 9 damage because that was announced. And because it's going to 9, we're left with mirroring Dragon Breath or making Zygarde and Steelix pretty good. Depends on the Breaking Swipe changes too. We'll come to that. Ember! There's our Thundershock clone. My reasoning for this one, I remember when I pitched this one, was I said all fire fast attacks currently are way too damage focused. Ember is an early game attack. In the main series, like Thundershock, like Poison Sting, fire could really benefit from a high energy generating fast attack, particularly a Pokemon like Charizard, because it doesn't care about its fast attack damage as much as it cares about getting to Blast Burn. So I was like, Charizard would really like Ember like this, and they liked it. And I think that it'll be very fun. So, Wing Attack Zard was already uncomfy? No, it wasn't. Wing Attack Zard was amazing. We loved Wing Attack Charizard. It was such a good display of energy management. It was super squishy, but it was just so good at being able to put amazing pressure and getting in and out of matchups, pulling shield. And I loved Charizard and the way that it was played. I watched some of the plays that people were doing with Shadow Charizard, and I was like, this is exciting. This is cinema. I don't like really efficient, bulky Pokemon. I think that the way that you should balance Pokemon is that the more bulk you have, the less efficient you are, and the more squishy you are, the more efficient you should be. That's how I would like the game to be, so that it invites players to not just run obscenely obnoxious, bulky teams. I get very bored of watching obnoxious matchups where you're just stuck Umbreon into Lickitung or whatever it is, right? I don't care for those. Normal or Shadow Charizard? I guess it depends. Your gut tells you that Shadow Charizard pressure could be really good. It really depends on... I'll come to that, Sergio. It really depends on what the meta is at the time. If there is a situation where the regular Charizard survives a very common attack that the Shadow one can't survive, then you might consider the regular. The problem is Charizard is so squishy that even the regular one probably isn't wanting to take some of these attacks. However, because Ember is generating energy so quickly, you might actually get to 2 attacks. So I'm curious. We saw that Shadow for Alligator was the dominant force for so long, and then more recently players have been opting for regular for Alligator because it can tank damage better from Mudslap, for example, but also some charge attacks from Shadow Drapion or whatever it is. Ilan, welcome in, dude. Sergio, says the guy who runs Basti. Let's be very clear about something. I have never, ever run a regular Bastiodon. The only Basti I ever ran was Shadow Basti, and I ran it twice, and I came 2nd in Bologna with it and 9th in Worlds with it because I used it in a way that people didn't use Bastiodon, right? I didn't use it as a defensive wall to stuff. I used it as an aggressive attacker into Gligar teams. That's how I was using the Shadow Basti. So I'm just saying, I used it differently. That's why no one else was using it, because everyone only ever perceived Basti as this defensive wall. I didn't use it like that. Sus. Extra Sensory, Fairy Wind. What's next? The next buff is Leafage. Leafage to 6/8 becomes a Shadow Claw clone. Do you know what people were talking about? People hate Bastiodon because they find it RPS driving. They find it polarizing. It basically wins its matchups so hard that the players that use it often only play for alignment. They don't play with strategy other than, I want to put my Bastiodon on a Pokemon that it guarantees it wins against, and so they regard it as a driver of the idea that this game is just tapping the screen, and so people don't like that. I think in reality people don't like Bastiodon because it formed that Grasshole team that was Basti double Razorleaf or Razorleaf and Tropius, and or even the one that had Wigglytuff on it, where if you don't have alignment you simply cannot flip the matchup. Whereas I think Bastiodon being used in Show 6 was completely different. And if you don't agree, go and show me how many people had success with Bastiodon in Show 6. It's so few. You had to use it so differently. It's a completely different Pokemon in Show 6 versus blind format. HVK, how you doing, dude? Okay, Leafage is going to become a Shadow Claw clone. This is another example of how power creep is really hitting this game right now. Not necessarily a bad thing, I'm just letting you know. Power creep is basically being seen everywhere because once upon a time, Shadow Claw was the only attack with the parameters of 6 damage and 8 energy. We had Acid match that recently, we've had Leafage matching it, and we're likely to have Peck matching it as well. So is it a bad thing? Different conversation, but I don't think it's in denial that we are seeing a lot of power creep across the game. Will it have an impact? Maybe a Abomasnow. Maybe Abomasnow is currently a good user of it. I guess Lurantis could be interesting, but yeah, it feels strange, Sergio, doesn't it? I guess what I'd say is that currently the grass types are not shining in an environment where we're seeing buffs to steel, to dragons, to fires. Dartrix? If I were Dartrix, I'd be using Peck, right? Or does it have Leafage as well? Or are you just saying Dartrix because I mentioned Peck? Oh, it has Leafage. Oh, it has both. It has both. What a goated mon. Do I think grass is going to be particularly prominent in the new meta? Maybe. We'll come on to a pick that I think could be inviting for grass. Okay, Metal Claw, Metal Sound, Peck, again. Peck is going up to 6-8. This one wasn't actually from me, it was from the other guys that are involved with suggestions. They were very keen to have Peck go up, and I was like, sure, if we can distribute it to some other fun mons. But Peck is going to be very exciting. Vig loves Basti? Yeah, tell me about it. David, you know that if I'd played my Game 1 team against Beelzeboy last year in Worlds, I'd have made top 8. Anyway, it happens. Alright, Peck is exciting. There's a lot of Pokemon that use Peck. And this could be the end of fighting types as we know it. But we'll see. It's nice to have some flying pressure back that isn't just bonking stuff with Brave Bird. As Pataman will rue, I guess. Okay, keep going. Have I missed anything up till there? Smackdown is going up to 12. Don't know. Don't really know why. Steel Wing's coming down. That's to prevent Skarmory coming back, because only a crazy person would use Skarmory in Show 6. Let's be very clear. I've also never used Skarmory. I've only ever used Shadow Skarmory. Anything else? Volt Switch damage is being increased to now invite Volt Switch users to actually use it. And that looks like it for the fast attacks. So I don't agree with Charm on PvPoke, and I'm apprehensive about Dragon Tail. I think it's primarily for Skarmory because Sand Attack is more flexible for Corviknight anyway, I think. So it's probably primarily for... I guess Steel Wing Air Cutter to Corviknight would be annoying. So yeah, maybe both. Val, don't let anyone tell you that you can't use anything, okay? You use whatever you want to use. That's, honestly, whilst I appreciate that there are problems with power creep, I love the idea of casting a tournament where I can have a chat with one of you and say, what are you using in this tournament? And you basically say something along the lines of, I have always loved Dodrio, and I am just really excited that there's now an opportunity to use it in Show 6. And so the nice thing for me about power creep, or the idea of lots of Pokemon becoming relevant, is that more people can use the Pokemon that they want to use. And I think that is that's why we should play, right? Not because this is the meta team that everyone has to use, but because you genuinely derive enjoyment from bringing your own diverse yet viable team. So, pros and cons to power creep. Let's go through the charge attacks. So there are, I'll filter by the DPE, the damage per energy, to see what we're looking at here. If I miss anything, let me know. The first update is one of these. Dragonclaw. Dragonclaw at 4580 I think will be correct, because I mean I'd asked for 4070, but if it's going up to 80 there's no way it's going to be a Hydro Cannon clone. 4580 makes sense. There is something peculiar about Dragonclaw, which is a common staple dragon charge attack, having the same parameters as Dynamax Cannon. That does seem strange. Jinx has just been buffed. Jinx is a Confusion user, right? Jinx has been buffed. Yeah, there's something peculiar about Dragonclaw being a Dynamax Cannon clone. Maybe they could have... So, when we say power creep, what we're basically saying is that the overall standard of what makes a Pokemon good, or what makes a move good, has increased. Over the years, Shadow Claw was the gold standard. To have an attack like Shadow Claw or like Counter was the dream. And if you saw any Pokemon that had access to Shadow Claw or Counter, you'd immediately start to look at that Pokemon and consider it, because it has access to one of the best fast attacks in the game. Over time, instead of replacing Shadow Claw or replacing Counter, which initially they did, right? Instead of replacing them with other attacks, they're now just adding to them. We're not seeing many nerfs. Last year, we had an unprecedented number of nerfs after Worlds. And some people thought that that might set a standard for what we'll see after every Worlds, where they bring down a meta and bring up a new one. For this meta, there was obviously the view that there was a lot more growth in this meta still to come. And so instead of doing a heavy nerf this time, they said, okay, what are the problem picks? And how can those be addressed by bringing other Pokemon up to a level where there's, for example, less RPS? So I'll address this quickly now. So one of the RPS triangles that we've seen in this most recent meta is Dedenne, Mandibuzz, and Shadow Kanto Marowak, for example. And on paper, that's a horrible RPS triangle. If you get that aligned wrong, you're almost certainly losing if you're on the losing side of the triangle. So there are two ways to address it. One way in the past that they've addressed it is they absolutely rinse the triangle. They see Nidoqueen and Walrein and they go, we're just going to kill both of them. We're just going to take them both away. Which I remember, in my opinion, I was like, I don't think that that's the way that you needed to do it. You know, I appreciate people might not have liked Nidoqueen, and so fair enough if you want to get rid of it. I didn't necessarily think it needed to be killed. Perhaps an adjustment, but I think the adjustments for both of them were a little bit too aggressive. And so the alternative to gutting an RPS triangle is to bring in more Pokemon that beat all three. Because do you remember Tauntaun winning, I believe it was EUIC, with Shadow Dragonair? He recognised that there was an RPS triangle that a lot of people were getting stuck in, and he brought a Shadow Dragonair to have play into the whole triangle. Now, if you can bring in a core breaker, an RPS core breaker, that has strong neutral play as well, you reduce the impact of RPS triangles. And so what they've looked to do here is introduce a huge host of Pokemon that have play into the Dedenne, Kanto Marowak, and Mandibuzz triangle, but they've also made slight adjustments to reduce how impactful that triangle is going to be. So what they've basically said is, we'll take Mandibuzz away, we'll nerf Aerial Ace to make Mandibuzz less desirable to bring, because we view that as the unhealthiest or the most undesirable of the triangle, probably because it's the longest existing of that triangle, right? Shadow Kanto Marowak, we're going to make less RPS by buffing Rock Slide, so that it's less walled by its flying counters, and will now, against most flying types, threaten a 2-shot knockout with the Rock Slide, right? Dedenne. Dedenne was one that I had said, guys, I think you need to nerf Parabolic Charge, and or consider giving Dedenne, don't hate me for this, but consider giving Dedenne Trailblaze, which is a buff to Dedenne. But I basically said that you can rely, and I said nerf Play Rough, because I was like, dissuade. If you can dissuade Dedenne from using Play Rough, you become worse into dragons, but you rely on your defensive fairy typing, but you can become better into grounds, so you become less RPS by definition. They haven't done that, which is fine. But there are two reasons why I think Dedenne will not be as problematic. It wasn't a secret. I wanted Azumarill to be nerfed. There are two reasons why Dedenne might not be as problematic right now, and hear me out for these two reasons. First reason. I think that the reason that they didn't want to just gut Dedenne straight away is this is the first time in a while that we've had an electric type operating as an electric type in the meta. Previously, we had Lantern as our electric type, and the only reason it was really as dominant as it was is because it was a water type that beat the other water types, right? Because electric usually, on its own, isn't particularly desirable. So now we've got an electric type, which people have been asking for a long time, and they go, okay, well, we don't just want to completely ruin it straight away, so they're going to leave it in there. Again, Charger Bug was weird. People were using Charger Bug because it resisted fighting, and it was an electric that wasn't weak to ground, and it was running X Scissor, which was a good attack at the time. So this is the first time that we're seeing an electric type just spam electric attacks in the way that electric should be used. So one reason why Dedenne might not be as problematic, we are having a game now where a lot of the flying types are going to have some way of hitting back against Dedenne. So take away your Mandibuzz that's using dark and flying, bring in something like, not necessarily the best example, but something like Fearow, which has access to Drill Run. So it's less of a hard RPS situation. But the more interesting one for me is the switch timer. So we know that by reducing the switch timer, you're reducing the amount of time that you're locked into a bad matchup. There's one reason immediately that this reduces RPS, because think about the chip and dip strategy. Lots of players would get good alignment, their opponent would safe swap something, and what they would do is they would chip it, and then they would go into a neutral response that, following the chip, should maintain alignment. Every time the switch timer reduces, the percentage impact of that chip and dip on the alignment of your switch clocks increases. So now if you chip and dip and you spend that extra probably 15 seconds at least, you've used a third of the switch clock already at 45 seconds. And if you're playing for an alignment based game and your opponent starts moving in and out and weaving, which is the gameplay that I want us to move towards, that's the gameplay I like to see, then the chip and dip strategy becomes riskier. The other reason, let's say you're using Dedenne and you have a dominant matchup into, for example, Empoleon. Your opponent safe swaps Empoleon. You counter swap Dedenne, right? You can't take a Hydro Cannon from this Empoleon. Empoleon's scary, right? Empoleon, when it can hit Hydro Cannon in 5 and it's not resisted damage, right? Metal Sound is neutral against the Dedenne. Hydro Cannon is neutral and amazing. Sanyo Digo, you've seen my moves update reaction 8 to 9 times. I don't think I've even watched it back once yet, but that's funny. So you start needing to shield first with Dedenne. And actually Dedenne is a Pokemon that very frequently shields first because it wants to get Parabolic Charge off, right? So now think about this. Your opponent is using a Dedenne and they're always giving you shields first. Each time an attack is thrown, from you get a shield and you use 10 seconds. From them, they throw an attack, they have to, Parabolic Charge, and they use 10 seconds. And very quickly, the switch timer's up. When the switch timer is up, you could aggressively, particularly if you have shield advantage, because they always use theirs first, you could potentially only have shielded once before the switch timer is up, right? Three ways of 15 seconds, right? They use 5 to get to theirs and throw, and vice versa, right? So you could have gone switch timer with 3 attacks, potentially, as in 2 from you and 1 from them. So you've taken 2 of their shields, they've taken 1 of yours. Now, if you aggressively swap into, for example, a Shadow Kanto Marowak, you've got shield advantage. You've got Edgequake coverage in ground and rock. And your rock slides are doing way more damage than they were before. And the bulkiest flyer in the meta is gone. They cannot do anything with this Dedenne anymore. They're not going to just stay. I mean, if they want to throw a play rough, they can. But the mud slaps you're getting in are super valuable. Let's say they switch out now. You have a shield advantage Shadow Kanto Marowak with basically perfect coverage into their backline. And they might have lost the game because they invested too hard in their Dedenne. Particularly if you are using a Pokemon like Empoleon, which when it comes back in, if you give it enough attack, can beat the Dedenne in charge type priority. And the next time the Dedenne comes back, it's lost all of its boosts. And so I wonder if one advantage of making really broad coverage ground types, particularly Mud Slappers, will result in people over-investing in Dedenne and losing endgames because of it. Do you see what I'm saying? Because of the switch timer and because of the broader coverage Mud Slappers, it is risky investing in Dedenne in the way that we've seen people invest in it up till now. Does that make any sense, right? Does that make any sense? That we are disincentivizing investing in Dedenne because there is less time that you can get value out of it. We are disincentivizing Dedenne because its best counters have better play into the rest of the meta, and therefore Dedenne is harder to protect. And is that enough, question mark, to leave Dedenne as it is? I'm open to seeing how it goes for 3 months, because I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing to investigate nerfing a Pokemon through strategy adjustments. Does that make sense? Zoilus, I don't know if you managed to hear any of that. I think I messaged you all of this beforehand, Zoilus, anyway, but I was basically saying that reduction from 50 seconds to 45 seconds reduces the amount of time that Dedenne can be... Oh, has an ad just come up? Anyway, it's how much time Dedenne can get value on the field. And better coverage ground types means that Dedenne is harder to protect. And that might be enough to reduce Dedenne. As well as the fact that the dragons or the flying types, or even the dragons, even the dark types potentially, have just better coverage now than they used to. So you guys know I like theory, so that's just theoretically what was coming into my head. When I was looking at these changes, I was like, theoretically, Dedenne shouldn't be as bad as it felt it was before. And I'm not talking about GBL, I'm talking about Show 6. Okay, we mentioned Dragon Claw. Oh, so the reason for the Dragon Claw adjustment, if anyone was curious, the Dragon Claw adjustment came about because so many dragons were just running Dragon-type fast attack straight into 35 energy Dragon Claw, and it was boring, it was duplicative, it was... all of the dragons were just too similar. And so instead, if you bring it up to at least 40 energy, here 45 energy, you give dragons the opportunity to run different coverage bait attacks. And that will reduce the RPS nature of dragons, and that will help diversify the different dragon options that people might want to run. The next change we saw was Drill Peck. The Drill Peck is being made even better to just improve Empoleon and the other flyers. The flyers that are already getting Peck, but needed a little bit more neutral help to make up for their lack of bulk. For example, Dodrio and Fearow, for example. Or Shadow Zapdos, if you've got one. The next change that's on here, all the Weather Balls are going up. Weather Ball Rock, my best buddy, Great League Hippopotas. Watch out, guys. No, wait, that's not even true. It runs Body Slam. My Shadow Hippowdon that I'm going to pair with my Great League best buddy Hippopotas. Otherwise, the ones that were standing out to me were Kanto Ninetales for fire. Maybe Abomasnow or A9 or even Aurorus, depending on a low fighting type meta, for Weather Ball Ice. I don't remember if off the top of my head I saw anyone with Weather Ball Water that I cared for. You like the idea of 45 timer shenanigans making Dedenne less potent, but you think its typing makes it so there's only 2 to 3 archetypes of Pokemon that actually force Dedenne out. Dilly, ground mostly. Potentially. I wonder if Turtonator, being a dragon that resists parabolic charge and doesn't take super effective from Play Rough, I wonder whether that has any impact on Dedenne. I wonder if a drop in dark type usage potentially reduces Dedenne. I wonder if the fact that Dedenne counter swapping the best water isn't as effective as it used to be, right? If you swap an Azumarill in and you're met by a Dedenne, that's pretty annoying. If you swap a Shadow Empoleon in and a Dedenne comes in, you're always getting shields before you're giving shields. I wonder if these things are other factors that might impact it. You think 2 team slots automatically go to a narrow set of anti-Dedenne options, which is good, in that it keeps Dedenne usage, but bad in that it restricts creativity to the other 4 slots. The one thing I'd say to that, Zoilis, is that I think that there are arguably enough Dedenne answers that people might opt for different ones. And the fact that there are at least 3 ground type options that people might lean into with very different coverage and different typings could be a source of creativity, because I don't in theory think that the presence of ground as a role in a team is an unhealthy thing. I think that has always been a thing. I think we've always, almost in every single meta we've had a ground type as one of the roles. From memory, there has almost always been a ground type, and the few times that I can think off the top of my head where we haven't had a ground type was because we were trying to counter Spark Lantern and people opted for a dragon instead. I think. And even then, I think people were using Gligar at one point during that approach. So we'll see. I don't necessarily think it has to be a Mud Slapper. Do I? Does it have to be a Mud Slapper? Maybe. I've never been a hater of Mud Slap personally. I know some people don't like Mud Slap. I don't think there's anything wrong with Mud Slap. You're very impatiently waiting for new cores that are driven by different focal points. Whilst I think we're going to have a lot of new cores. I don't think new cores is something we're going to have to wait 3 months for. I think this meta changes massively now. I think this is completely different. And I think that what I like about these changes is that there are going to be so many different viable cores that instead of seeing Medi Lickitung as your top usage or Cradley plus Ghost as your top usage, I think you can swing into so many different options. You can run stuff like, I think lots of people know that Empoleon plus a Flyer can be a really strong core. I think that Kanto Marowak will be a great Pokemon that you can build around. Claydol was one of the top 5 most balanced neutral mons, so yay Mudslap. Claydol. What do I think about Claydol? Claydol was a weird one, wasn't it? Because it seemed to only really be used to try and counter Shadow Drapion at the time. Like, if you're thinking, when did people want to use Claydol? One of the key reasons was because you were able to Mudslap down a Shadow Drapion and Rock Tomb the next Pokemon. I wonder, is there any world where Claydol can come back? Who knows? Salikatang, thank you very much for the sub, dude. Appreciate you. Yeah, I think having fast attack pressure on a team is a good thing. I think it could hit back against Jumpluff, yeah. I think having a mix of fast attack pressure, charge attack pressure, bulk, spam, all of these things helps create diversity and different team options. And I think that we will have more creativity as a result of a lot of these changes. Just remember that the most efficient way to get your 45-second switch timer is by throwing a charge attack. And some of the spammiest mons could be the squishiest ones. Charizard, for example, hits Air Cutter after 4 Embers. I'm just saying, if you want to manage your switch timer, Pokemon like Charizard could be exciting. Okay, what's next on this list? Rock Slide, up to 75. I am very sorry for anyone who used an Elite Charge TM on their Shadow Machamp. It's time to go away from Stone Edge and back to Rock Slide. Shadow Machamp with the option of 4 into Cross Chop, or you could even consider Dynamic Punch. But generally speaking, pacing is king. So we'll see. Rock Slide is Sky Attack now. We'll see. PV Poke says no, but I think it will be. Zard has the old Quag pacing to bait and nuke. Not just that, Axon. Its bait can boost it, which is funny. Dragon Breath Zard will probably outclass it, but both will have a niche. Yeah, I think, well, this is exactly what I'm saying. It will depend on your team. I think that there is absolutely a team composition that will want the Ember Charizard. Where, particularly if you're pairing Charizard with a dragon, which many people do, right? Charizard plus dragon could be a very common way to approach things. And if you're running Dragon Breath into a high Empoleon usage meta instead of Ember, that could cost you. That genuinely could make all the difference. If you manage to chip an Empoleon and then you're trying to Dragon Breath it down with a nerfed non-stab Dragon Breath versus Embering it down, that could make all the difference. You have such little time against an Empoleon because it takes 5 seconds for it to knock you out, right? I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. I'm just saying that do not assume anything when it comes to these things. If PV Poke tells you that this is the recommended moveset, you need to take a moment to think if that is always going to be the case. Because even in the more established metas, we saw Axon go and take NAIC by switching back to Skull Bash, right? When everyone else was running Ice Beam, he switched back to Skull Bash. It took everyone by surprise. We saw Pataman, when everyone was running Fury Cutter Golisopod, he switched to Shadow Claw and he gets second in Worlds. Admittedly, in the Grand Finals, he wished he probably had Fury Cutter, but probably he used that Shadow Claw Golisopod a heck of a lot in the lead up to that Grand Finals. And various other move changes and adjustments and pivots that people will use to catch people off, right? Lots of Shadow Steelix players were like, oh, we only use Psychic Fangs and Breaking Swipe. And then you realise that the Ghost usage means actually now it's time to go back to Crunch. So whether it's Ember or Dragon Breath or whether it's Peck and Charm or whatever it is, right? Just be aware that with the power creep, there are so many more options and one Pokemon might look very different on different teams. What else will benefit from Rock Slide at 75? Can we think of any? Does anyone have a good Lunatone and Soul Rock? I don't think they'll be meta relevant because they have terrible typing, but I'm just thinking of really niche random Rock Slide users at this point. G-Fisk obviously has Rock Slide, but I think that it's just been so power crept by this point that it's not going to be relevant. I'm just going to quickly scroll through. Lyle, you mentioned Pignite, but I'm just saying Ember has Ember, Rock Slide, and Blast Burn. I'm going to use it in GBL. What else has Rock Slide? My Stonjourner? Awesome. Combusken with Ember, Rock Slide, and Flame Charge. Combusken was actually one of the reasons why I suggested Ember as well, but I think I asked for it to get something else, and I don't think they ever did it. Let me just see what I asked for. One sec. Where's my Combusken? I definitely put Combusken on here. Oh, I wanted them to give Blaze Kick to Combusken, and I wanted them to buff Blaze Kick down to 35 energy, because we don't have a 35 energy fire attack, and I thought it would be funny to have Blaze Kick Combusken as meta. And it was to run Peck, Blaze Kick, and a rock attack, which I can't remember. Probably Rock Slide. Dunsparce stonks going up? Question mark. I would say no. I do not think Dunsparce will go up in usage. I think Dunsparce. I mean, everyone knows I've always hated Dunsparce because I hate normal types. But I don't think Dunsparce. Oh, Dunsparce. My apologies. My apologies. I actually don't know what the stats are for a Dunsparce. Um, 1953 with 115 attack. I doubt it. It starts with dud dismissed, yeah. Zwilus, with quips like that, I don't know why you've not applied for casting. That's all I'm saying. Okay. The next one. Oh wait, was there anything else on Rock Slide that I wanted to highlight? So it makes Shadow Kwak less RPS. Machamp gets a little bit better as being a fighting type that can hit into the flyers that we're expecting to be prominent. I'm not seeing a ton else that I think we care about. I'm only joking when I say Emboar. I don't think Emboar is going to be relevant. What is this? Why have I got Tangrowth? What does that use? Vine Whip, Rock Slide. Okay, I'm going to add Tangrowth to my potential buff list because it's cool. Okay. Oh, Deoxys. No, that still sucks. Melmetal can go back to Rock Slide as well. Lunatone, Soul Rock. Okay, I don't think there's loads else that's jumping out to me right now. Rock Slide Pangoro, I don't know if you'd want to drop Night Slash or Close Combat on Pangoro. Do you know, funny thing about Azumarill, Val, is that I think Shadow Dragonite with Thunder Punch now can beat Azumarill in the 2 shields because it just paces to Thunder Punch so quickly with the new Dragon Breath, which is funny. Did they ever give Go-Goat Rock Slide? I don't think they did they? That never got given Rock Slide. No. Okay, I'll add that back to my list. Okay. Surf, Thunder, Dazzling Gleam. Dragon Pulse. Okay, do you know what's interesting? 9055 obviously is a clone of all of these elemental attacks, right? And so initially when I saw it, I was like, yeah, 9055 makes sense. But then I watched Jonkus's video that said he thought it might be 50. And often I'm like, you know, when you see any YouTuber or streamer say something, you're like, oh, you know, is it more for the engagement than it is for anything else? But then I thought about it and I was like, 50-90 could be pretty cool for a dragon attack that otherwise, like, nothing is going out of their way to run Flamethrower or Thunderbolt. Ice Beam only where you need to because it gives you interesting coverage. But otherwise, none of these 55-90 attacks, particularly the ones with no secondary effect, you're not going out of your way to run it, right? Could it be 50 energy, 90 damage? I don't think we've got anything that is 50 and 90 at the moment. I know we've got 50-85s. Do we have 50-90s? Oh, we do. Sorry, I've lied. Grass Knot and Power Whip. I don't see why it couldn't be 50. I don't know if it will be. I still think if I had to guess, I would guess 55. But Dragon Pulse at 50, if we get up Dragon Pulse users, I love that my last Google search is food near me. If we look at Dragon Pulse users, Altaria would be able to run a diverse moveset if it had Peck with Dragon Pulse, I guess, but I think probably you're going to see Dragon Breath, Sky Attack, Flamethrower, Altaria anyway. None of these Pokemon look problematic. Dragonair would be cool. None of these Pokemon look problematic. Eternatus is not going to drop Dynamax Cannon for Dragon Pulse. Giratina Origin, I mean, it would no longer be walled by normals, running Dragon Tail, Shadow Ball, and Dragon Pulse. Nothing I'm seeing here. Kyron White's probably not running Dragon Pulse. Lapras could run Dragon Pulse. That would be funny, actually. Regidrago is always running Breaking Swipe, Dragon Energy. I just was building a Seadra earlier today, which was funny. And the reason why I said 50 and I'm trying to manifest 50 is because I just powered up my Shadow Shelgon. And Turtonator might want Dragon Pulse, but it has lots of coverage options. It's just been given Dragon Claw. It's not going to run Dragon Pulse. I don't think Dragon Pulse at 50 would be a problem. So bring it on, I would say. Let's hope for a 50 energy Dragon Pulse, and then some of those niche dragons that don't have other Dragon Charge type coverage would actually use it and could be funny. And that's why we do this, right? Because it's funny. What's next? What is next? Okay, Scorching Sands going down to 20%. We saw Crunch go down to 20%, so I think 20% is probably right. Oh, sorry, I missed Flame Wheel. Flame Wheel! Surely Flame Wheel is not going to be 5080. Surely Flame Wheel is going to be a Drill Run clone at 4580. Why would you give Torkoal Flame Wheel with Ember and make it really inefficient with a 9 energy fast attack? You wouldn't do that. Everyone's going to run the really funny Ember, Flame Wheel, and then they're going to skip Earthquake because Earthquake's boring, and they're going to run Solar Beam Torkoal. Of course you're going to do that. Solar Beam is 80 energy. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 7 is 63, which means you miss your Earthquake by 2 energy. That makes Earthquake boring. So just run Solar Beam. I think it's going to be 45 energy, and I think that Alolan Marowak would also like it at 45 energy. Could run Bone Club with 35, or you could run both 45 with Shadow Bone and Flame Wheel, both at 4580, I believe. Shadow Bone has what, a 20 or 30% chance to drop their defense? Maybe 20. Yeah, I think Flame Wheel will be 45. Sorry, did I say Kanto? Alolan Marowak, sorry. What else? Okay, Water Pulse. Now, we mentioned Jonkus. Jonkus said he thought it would be 4580. I think that might be a push too far. And the reason why I think it's a push too far is that when you then go on to look at the Water Pulse users, there are some unhealthy options over here. I don't think Araquanid with 45 energy Water Pulse is necessarily a healthy addition to the meta. I don't think Clodsire... Actually, I do. I actually think Clodsire with 45 energy Water Pulse would be fine. That's fine. That actually makes you more playable into the Mudslap grounds that have otherwise completely dominated you. Okay, that one's fine. Don't know about Araquanid. Are there any other Water Pulse users? Gastrodon already at 50 energy is going to be meta, I think. Because Body Slam's getting buffed, so your neutral play is better. Water Pulse would let you run groundwater coverage, and you would hit Water Pulse after 5. Obviously, at 45, you'd still need to hit 5, but it would just mean your second one is 4. I think Gastrodon will already be top meta. Top? Maybe top meta. Bear in mind, top of the rankings right now is a Corviknight, which is a Steel Flyer. And what does Steel Flying pair best with? Water Ground. Could Gastrodon Corviknight be the 2026 season version of the Swampert Skarmory's core that we've seen for years in the past? Potentially. Gastrodon was already toxic in Ultra League. Why did it get buffed twice? The man in the planet asks, thinking that Niantic remember that they have a league called Ultra League. Anyone else with Water Pulse that I care for? Oh, Mantine's kind of... I don't really like Mantine that much. But I guess it's not meta. I guess none of the Water Pulse users supposedly here are particularly meta. So if it were to go down to 45, would it be a problem? Water Pulse would be better than Surf. Araquanid I wouldn't say is top meta though. I think that we've seen one trainer have success with it. Doesn't that promote more unhealthy RPS if we get the return of Steel Flyer plus Mudboy? I don't think that was necessarily an RPS meta at the time. Well, it was a bit, but I guess this would be the least RPS version of it because both your Water Ground and your Steel Flyer have better coverage than they previously did, right? So they're better covered, potentially. Ooh, Suicune with Water Pulse. Heck yeah. I don't know. Walrein with Water Pulse. Okay. Oh, I don't like Whiscash either. Whiscash sucks. I guess Araquanid is the one on here that really stands out to me as being like, ugh, I don't want that. Thank you. But at the same time, with the buff to the number of flyers that we're seeing, are we less worried about Araquanid? So if Jonkus is right with 45, 80, that would be very interesting. But I wouldn't be surprised if 50 would be fine. I think if Water Pulse is 50, I don't think that any of you would lose a minute's sleep over it. If Water Pulse is 45, it does introduce a host of new Pokemon that become meta viable. Query whether it would be an unhealthy change. How many of the water... Wait, Clodsire coming back in would make Dedenne hilariously bad. And it would be able to hit back into ground types. I don't know. I wouldn't mind if it just stays at 50. 45 kind of is funny, so I guess doing whatever's funny is also a viable approach. Body Slam going up to 55. What Body Slam users are we going to see? Does Lickitung come back? Does Lickitung run a double normal charge attack set? Does Vigoroth come back with both Body Slam and Rock Slide buffed? Does Dragonair see more play, or does Dragonair run Dragon Breath with Aqua Tail and Wrap? Does my best buddy Hippopotas with Sand Attack, Body Slam and Rock Tomb get used in GBL? Yes. We'll see. What else got buffed? Please, I'm begging for this to go down to 35 energy. We don't need Blaze Kick and Fire Punch at the same parameters. Free up my Combusken. Okay. Sky Attack. So PV Poke has it at 50-75. Surely it's going to be 45-75. That would make Altaria meta. And Altaria plus Empoleon are a very famous duo. Altaria doesn't want to see Fairy, Dragon, or Ice type damage, and Empoleon's very happy with it. So that would be a core pair immediately there, that you'd see the Steel Mudboy pair, and you could see the Empoleon Altaria pair. The Empoleon Altaria pair arguably more flexible. The Steel Gastrodon pair better into Dedenne, if that's popular. 50 energy Sky Attack will still be pretty good for Altaria. I just thought about this matchup. How does this play? 50%, 2 damage Dragon Breath. Metal Sound Breakpoint only achievable if you have a stupid Empoleon. Drill Peck doing 30. Oh, Empoleon's only winning on 1 HP. Interesting. Empoleon's actually losing to Altaria. Yeah, maybe Altaria is already pretty good. If it's beating probably one of the most popular steals at 50 energy Sky Attack. 30%. Ouch. Don't worry, Altaria. You can win the 0 to 1s but lose the 0 to 2s. Sorry, the 1 to 0. Yeah, well, the other way around. 1 to 0 isn't 2. Anyway, flamethrower does how much? Wow, that's gross. Do you know what else could be a really good core? Empoleon plus Togekiss. That would also be funny. If people are using Empoleon Altaria, and Altaria has play into both, then do you pivot to Empoleon Togekiss? Who knows? We'll go through the rankings in a minute anyway. Anyway, would I hate this going down to 45? Okay, well, let's quickly look at what other Sky Attack users we've got and whether or not they'd be a problem if Sky Attack were to go down to 45. So, yeah, Altaria would be very strong. Corviknight would... It would be weird because Corviknight can't run Air Cutter and Sky Attack, so it would have to drop its Comday move to run Sky Attack. And then run Payback for the mirror. Or do you just run Sky Attack Iron Head because they're both reasonable attacks, or run Air Cutter Payback? I don't know. We'll come on to Togekiss, haven't mentioned it yet. Pharaoh, not relevant. Honchkrow, probably not relevant. Lugia, not relevant. It's running Fly. Probably not relevant. Noctowl still on Wing Attack, and that's not relevant. Okay, here's the other thing. If Sky Attack were 50 and 75, would you need to nerf Steel Wing? Would you even bother needing to nerf Steel Wing if Sky Attack were a really inefficient attack? Why would you ever use Skarmory over Corviknight if Sky Attack were at 50? Do you see what I'm saying? Axon, what are your thoughts? Because you mentioned that you just mentioned Altaria would be good with it at 45. But if it was still 50, do you not think that Steel Wing would have just been left as it is? We'll see. And then none of these are relevant. You think Steel Wing was just for Corv. But, okay, for Corv as well, right? If Steel Wing is... Look at it. Let's quickly show you, yeah? Steel Wing was 7-6. If you're generating 6 energy and Sky Attack is 50, how many Steel Wings do you need to get to Sky Attack? Well, 8 times 6 is 48, so you miss it. So you need 9. And then Skarm is running, what, 10 Steel Wings to Sky Attack at the moment? At which point it just hits Brave Bird anyway. Would changing Skarmory from 10 Steel Wings to 9 Steel Wings with a drop in damage of 10 compared to Brave Bird, right? If we check the flying attacks, right, and go by DPE, you can either do 10 Steel Wings for a 2.36 DPE Brave Bird, or 9 Steel Wings for a 1.5 DPE Sky Attack. Regardless of whether you're Skarmory or Corviknight, would you ever run Steel Wing Sky Attack? As a Skarmory, you still suck. Particularly because you'd be walled by Corviknight and every other steel under the sun. And as a Corviknight, you're never dropping your Air Cutter for this Sky Attack. So why nerf Steel Wing? And that is part of the reasoning that makes me think maybe they are going to 45. Is that a Steel Wing nerf just doesn't seem necessary at 50 when Sky Attack's at 50. We'll see. We shall see. Okay, what was next? Gyro Ball. A couple of interesting things about Gyro Ball. PvPoke has it down to 55. I think this could go down to 50 and match all of the other 50-80 moves like Dark Pulse. Gyro Ball would be a buff to Aegislash that is already really struggling to have the impact that it should be having in PvP. There's one actually two interesting things about Gyro Ball at 50. First thing, it would be an ability for Aegislash technically to double up on moves to throw back-to-back attacks. And that means one less fast attack at minimum that it will be taking by throwing back-to-back. The other interesting thing about 50 for Gyro Ball is in terms of energy synergy, which you guys know I like. If my maths is correct, what's 16 times 6? 96? So we know that Aegislash in shield form is generating 6 energy per second. After 16, you hit 96. If you were to do another one, you would cap at energy and overflow. So you would be losing out. It would be inefficient, right? So ideally, you want to cap no higher than 96. If you throw a Gyro Ball at 96 with 50 energy, you go down to 46, at which point you change to Psycho Cut. You then generate 9 energy with your Psycho Cut and you hit 55, which is your Shadow Ball. And that would also be pretty cool. That you bait your Gyro Ball at 50, you take one fast attack while you get your Psycho Cut in, and then you bonk them with a Shadow Ball. And I don't know why, but the nice numbers of that make me feel warm inside. And also because I think Aegislash should be meta. Like, it's Aegislash. We waited for that for years. Why is it not going to be meta? Peter says in the YouTube chat, Greedent can come back with Body Slam. Sorry, I missed that earlier. Greedent, the only problem with Greedent is it's also stuck with Mudshot and Tackle, which both kind of suck. Crunch's been nerfed. Trailblaze helps it, but its fast attacks aren't good enough that Trailblaze feels valuable. So I don't know if Greedent will come back. You might see double. It has double kick, Body Slam, and access to Wild Charge or Payback. But I don't know about Greedent. Either way, I think Aegislash needs help, and the options to help it are to change the amount of energy it generates while it's bopping in shield form, or to make Gyro Ball better, which would also help other Pokemon that are laced with Gyro Ball. How would A-Slash do with Gyro Ball? I don't think A-Slash is ever running Gyro Ball. I can't see why you'd run Gyro Ball when you have Ice Ground coverage, which is superb coverage. So I think A-Slash probably stays with Ice Punch Drill Run. I think Matang obviously is perfectly happy to have Gyro Ball being buffed, but unfortunately for Matang, despite being objectively cool, has the worst offensive type coverage you could possibly ask for. Bug, Psychic, and Steel. Offensively is suicide. So do I think Matang will be meta? No, I don't, even if it goes down to 50. Do I think Gyro Ball will go down to 45? Probably not. I still think probably not. I think that would be a jump too far from 60, 80, I think. We'll see. Are there any others? Seed Bomb. PvPoke has it down at 55-40. I think this could go down to 35. I think 35-55 is a parameter we've seen more than enough of. No. I think 35-55 is parameters that we've seen more than enough of. And Grass is already pretty bad. Grass is already going to struggle into the new meta. I think at 35, and the other thing I wanted to highlight actually with Grass is that let's have a look at the existing, under the rankings as they are now. Look at our Seed Bomb users. We've got Morpeko, which currently doesn't run Seed Bomb, and then the only Pokemon that run Seed Bomb are ranked lower than 100, or higher than 100, however you want to frame it. So Seed Bomb Wrap Toedscruel would be way more efficient for Toedscruel at 35 energy, because obviously 35 plus 45 is 80. And Dartrix would be very happy to have Peck into Seed Bomb with 35. That would make it 5-4 rather than 5-5. Morpeko becomes less RPS if it can hit a Seed Bomb at 35. That's 4 seconds to knock out your Gastrodon. So it becomes super flexible. So is 35 energy Seed Bomb what we need to introduce different options. We'd have a different Mudslapper. We'd have a Pokemon that absolutely deletes Mudslappers. We'd have an electric type that this time is not walled by ground. And maybe Seed Bomb Morpeko is the trailblazed Dene that we needed. And that's why I think Seed Bomb at 35 could be the way. Val, thanks very much for the sub. Appreciate you. What else is interesting at 35 energy with, well, there's Trevenant, obviously. I think that Trevenant was cool. I think we've missed Trevenant for long enough now. And with Mandibuzz being nerfed, I'm very happy for Trevenant to come in. Morpeko being too buggy right now? Is Morpeko buggy? I've played against lots of Morpeko, but I don't know if I've ever noticed any bugs on it beyond the pause that happens when it just does its form change, which I've accepted at this point. Whimsicott. Its animations take forever. Well, the reason why I don't mind that, Sergio, and the other reason why I want Aegislash and Morpeko to be meta, and which is why I'm manifesting Gyro Ball being cheaper and why I want Seed Bomb to be 35, is because last Worlds, not this most recent one, the previous Worlds, the major announcement from that Worlds was the introduction of form-changing Pokemon. And to the extent that Morpeko and Aegislash fail to make any sort of impact in Show 6, that major mechanic that was introduced to this game is otherwise completely irrelevant. And that is a shame. And I think that introducing form changing introduces a new skill direction or a skill path for players to explore. Not just because it introduces different kinds of strategy because the Pokemon do different things in their different forms, right? For Morpeko, hitting with a different type. For Aegislash, the way that it has attack and its defense, but also, as you rightly point out, the amount of time it can change with respect to the new switch timer. Is that another opportunity to manipulate? And I say manipulate with all the positive intentions in the world, because switch timer manipulation is a form of skill expression. To Trent, to your point, to the extent that you do it in a legal way and you don't open up a different app or get out of the app, but the ability to manipulate, manage, and control the switch timer is a skill. And I think that it's a good thing to encourage different skill paths, because that, to Zweilous' point, however long ago it was, those are the stages of creativity that we will see, right? We will see no one liked Galaxco Bolton's timeout strategy, or at least no one wanted to play against it. But my goodness, it was refreshing to see. To bring in a style of play and an approach that was novel, that had never been seen before. Yes, I didn't enjoy playing, I didn't play against it, I was casting it, but yes, players weren't enjoying playing against it. But I was so happy. I was so, genuinely so glad that players, even in 2025, in that 2025 season, were finding innovative ways to build a team. And I think that we need that. We really need diversity of expression and creativity in team building, and not just a case of, can someone tell me which team won the last practice tournament and I'll just copy it and use it because that's the meta team. Boring. Really boring. It did then result in Kobasama running that timeout strategy team in GBL. So I guess that we're all losers in that sense, because that's been a painful addition to our GBL. But otherwise, yes. Seed Bomb Whimsicott will be meta with 35 energy Seed Bomb, because Fairy Wind will hit it after 4. Shinotic, probably not. Gorgeist, hitting Seed Bombs after 3 hexes. You could even forego Shadow Ball and go straight up to Poltergeist if you really wanted to. What's 13 times 6? 78. Okay, you just missed the Fire Blast, so you probably don't want that. Poltergeist. You missed the Fire Blast, right? 13 is 7, goes into 78, not into 80. And all the different size Gorgeists have slightly different stats, right? So that could be an interesting thing to explore. You might just go Fire Blast because you can, which I also appreciate. Anything else? Go-Go would obviously stick with Leaf Blade. Am I going to run a Seed Bomb? Hold on a minute. If Appleton... Where's Appleton? Oh no, Appleton... Oh, it is down here. If Appleton has 35 energy Seed Bomb and 50 energy Dragon Pulse with Astonish and 1900 stat product, does that have any play? Probably not. Grass is pretty bad. What about Flapple? 1600 stat product. Dragon Breath, Seed Bomb, Fly. Hey, that's objectively funny, and you know my views on something that's objectively funny. Did I build today a Alolan Executor in the hope that Seed Bomb would be 35? Yes. Yes, I did. I spent 3 million dust this morning because I was bored. And I hadn't played the game in a long time. Breloom with 35 energy Seed Bomb and Dynamic Punch and Force Palm. The greatest moves of all time, and still no play because it can't hit 1500 stat product. We love Breloom. Oh, Garbodor. 80. Wow, you just need a fast attack in your meta, dude. I'll get on that. Acid Garbodor, maybe. I don't think any of these are relevant. Oh, Arboliva. What's your stat product? 1700. Seed Bomb Earth. That's a bit weird. I'm not above bringing Breloom to a tournament if it gets 35 energy Seed Bomb. Freed, where's your Rock Tomb Hariyama? I think I asked for it. Yeah, it's on my list. I did put that one down. What does Hariyama get anything out of this update? No. Instead, they gave Rock Tomb to some funnier Pokemon, but we'll come to those in a minute. Okay, was anything here? So that, I think the Seed Bomb might have been the last one I wanted to talk about on the list. Can we make Flame Charge 45 or no? Is that not allowed? No. Oh, Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe. Okay. I had asked for Breaking Swipe to go up in damage to 70 damage and then up to like way more energy, so that it was like more of an inefficient nuke that had a guaranteed effect. Instead, it's staying at the same damage, which means that yes, it's going to be 100% attack, but it's likely to go to no higher than 45 energy. And the worry is that with Dragon Tail at 12 or 13, that's only 4 Dragon Tails to a Breaking Swipe. No, it's a 100% chance of an attack drop. It's going to be a 100% chance of an attack drop. So the problem is with Breaking Swipe, it's not gonna be both, guys. Come on, that's why they said it was a sneak peek, so that they can get away with their mistakes. You know what they're like. The problem with Breaking Swipe at 45 energy, well, I guess, is it a problem? Guys, if Steelix were to run Dragon Tail Breaking Swipe, thereby reducing its own coverage, is that necessarily a bad thing? By losing Thunderfang, you lose some of your big wins that you wanted. Right? When Steelix was like running through fairies, for example, imagine if you're running Breaking Swipe and Psychic Fangs, or Breaking Swipe and Earthquake, you're going to lose to a Togekiss. And that's pretty embarrassing if you're a Steelix, right? It's pretty embarrassing. So, is 45-50 with 100% going to be a problem? Don't know. I think, yeah, I agree, Zwilus. I think that the impact of buffs and debuffs is obviously reduced in a lower switch timer economy. And so I don't think that this is probably going to be a problem. And it's put it into a 1.11 range, right? Which is your Shadow Sneaks, Draining Kisses, Brick Breaks, Bulldoze World, Irrelevant World, right? Is there anything else down here? Is that everything? Okay, let's quickly flick through these. Brutal Swing Salamence. What? Another Salamence buff? Who could be doing this? That's crazy. Brutal Swing, Incineroar, and what are all these cool Pokemon doing getting in more attacks? I don't understand. Yeah, I've just built my Great League Salamence, so I'm ready to go for when Brutal Swing becomes available. Crunch Shelgon would be... Shelgon actually has Ember and Dragon Breath. So I don't know if anyone's going to use it, but Brutal Swing Turtonator is pretty huge. Incinerate with a 35 energy attack means you are absolutely pacing ridiculously quickly, and you're going to have a 45 energy Dragon Claw, which makes you... Wait, I wondered, you must be able to beat a Dedenne even though you can't hit it with charge attacks just through Incinerate damage. I wonder. I'm not sure how that matchup will play out. Either way, you become a dragon with neutral play into Dedenne, and incredible pacing. Crunch... Giving both Brutal Swing and Crunch to Salamence, I don't really know why. Just give the Brutal Swing. And if Dragon Tail is 12, remember that every 3 Dragon Tails you get a Brutal Swing, which is objectively funny. And every 4 Dragon Tails you get a Fly, which is cool. Crunch Shelgon. Breaking Swipe Garchomp. I guess... Ow. Problem with that is you're still probably... I don't know. I guess it gives people an option to run a Dragon Ground type if they don't have Zygarde. Yeah, the number of times I've tried to get a good attack on myself, I've tried to get Fly on Salamence and I just kept getting Hydro Pump. That was pretty funny. Flame Wheel Torkoal. Flame Wheel Torkoal. Sanudigo, you are forgetting my Armor Rouge that is currently running Incinerate Psyshock. Thank you very much. I beat Pocket with that. I ran a very healthy team of Mudsdale, Armor Rouge, Ceruledge, and I beat him. Because he just didn't know how fast my Armor Rouge was coming in with. Flamethrower Altaria is pretty huge. Because Peck, as a Shadow Claw clone, is generating 8 energy, which means 7 Pecks to an ability to hit Steel types, and almost nothing is one-shotting you. You know, we've not seen any ice distribution or ice anything, really, in this update. Okay, Man on the Planet, I'm going to be honest with you. My proposals for Incineroar were not these. I admittedly did mention Incineroar so many times that they've given 2 updates to Incineroar, of which neither of them were the ones that I actually asked for. But I have been asking for Incinerate updates for a while. But it wasn't these ones. Metal Sound Empoleon. Empoleon's going to be the GOAT. If Empoleon can get to Hydro Cannon in 5 seconds, Empoleon's the GOAT. Like, it's so good. It's very squishy, but it's got good defensive typing, so hopefully that can help it a little bit, and it's just going to be cool. Como O also has the potential to be the GOAT, right? Trainer Mystic, hey, how you doing? What is Pocket John? I don't know what Pocket John is. Como O with Metal Sound at 8, and it's being given... Oh, sorry. out of pocket. Aiden, the NAIC champion from the year before. Kommo-o with Metal Sound into upper hand after 5 seconds, with upper hand being an Aqua Jet clone with a 30% chance to debuff your opponent, makes Kommo-o pretty cool. Oh, but there's more. Kommo-o has access to factually the best attack in the game. Clanging Scales, with a DPE not just of 2.4, which would overtake your V-Create, which drops your defense by 3 stages, but 2.66 with only a 1-stage defense drop. And you're hitting that when you're running Metal Sound, which generates 8 energy. You're hitting that after 6 Metal Sounds. 12 turns to hit a 2.66 DPE attack. That is cool. That is really cool. Yes, Kommo-o could run Dragon Tail. It hits the Clanging Scales, I think, at the same pace, but I think it's slower to the upper hand and reduces your overall coverage, but is better into Dragon Mirrors. So we'll see what people use. Drill Peck Pharaoh. So did Jangmo have a Com Day? Yes, Jangmo had a Com Day. It now has access to Clanging Scales. If you don't have Clanging Scales Kommo-o, you can either Elite TM it or you can wait until December. And in December, you will be able to do a repeat of the Com Day and get it Clanging Scales again, or find a local who did the event and trade one with them. It won't be a special trade to take a Kommo-o if you already have one in your decks, so you can just trade for one. Drill Peck Pharaoh. This is cool because now it runs Peck, Drill Peck, and Drill Run. Are there any other Peck attacks? Could we have a triple Peck user? That would be cool. It would be cool if all of Dodrio's attacks were Peck something, which would be funny. But Pharaoh can technically hit ground. Who is the fake demon of this update? As in who benefits loads from this update, but you don't know it, or what do you mean? Yeah, Murkrow's pretty funny because it runs Peck, Drill Peck, and Foul Play, but it has like no attack. Sorry, it has no bulk, but it has tons of attack. So that could be funny. As in, who will underwhelm despite expectations? Oh, I'd say probably between Out of Pocket and Nighttime Clasher, Henry. I think those two are probably up there. Next, I think that Peck Dodrio with Trailblaze, which it's going to get as well, gives another interesting diversity. I don't usually like normal flying type Pokemon. No, Henry, I'm joking. I'll tell you afterwards. Once I've gone through these, then I'll tell you what I think. I don't usually like normal flying type Pokemon because they double resist 2 types, and flying type Pokemon's resistance can often be what determines the health of a meta, in my opinion. However, I do not mind when they are low stat product normal flying type Pokemon. So Pharaoh and Dodrio, etc., I don't mind. Xatu. I actually built one today because it was shiny and because it's getting Psyshock, but it needs one other attack. It needs one other buff, and then I will use Xatu. Actually, I'm going to add that to my list. One sec, let me quickly... Does anyone have any suggestions for what to give Xatu as the secondary attack? You could change the course of the world right now. I think... I mean, we could just go for Shadow Ball. With Shadow Ball, it would have Flying, Psychic. So if it's getting Peck and Psyshock, then it would have Flying, Psychic, and Ghost coverage. We use our Pokemon type coverage calculator that you know I like using. We've got Flying, Psychic, and Ghost. And that's only 7 Pokemon in the game that it's resisted entirely by. So maybe Shadow Ball is the way. Togekiss. Now, do you know what's interesting about Togekiss is that PvPoke does not have Togekiss running Peck in the rankings. And I wonder if, for that reason, Togekiss is down here at 351. I do want Kingambit to be the best Pokemon in the game. That is also true, Sergio. But I think Togekiss is going to be running Peck and not Charm. And I wonder how good it will be in that environment. Air Cutter Charizard, very good. Dragon Claw's going up to 45 energy. Charizard needs access to 35 energy attacks. So this is good. It will have Stab. It will also have the chance of boosting it. Peck should be a Shadow Claw update. There isn't a list for the move update, but I did write my own list as to what I thought all the parameters would be. But so far, this is the list. Okay, David, do you know what's really annoying about Urshifu? When I was building my Urshifu, the Dark type Urshifu was better. And it was running Sucker Punch, Brick Break, and Dynamic Punch. And then all of a sudden, the meta in the Master League changed completely when the Crown Form dogs came in. And now everyone's using the Water Urshifu because it runs Counter, Aqua Jet, and Dynamic Punch. And so I need them to buff the Dark Urshifu because that's the one I've got a hundo of. And I can't change it, which is very sad for me. So, we'll see. I will go through what I can give to a Dark Urshifu that makes it any better, but I don't think there's much that can be done for it now. Okay, Psyshock on Alolan Raichu. I don't actually have a good Alolan Raichu. It's very, very squishy, but with Volt Switch getting buffed and access to Psyshock, and I'm pretty sure it gets Trailblaze, then that could be a weird Pokemon to play against, but probably not in Show 6. Urshifu has a sick Great League Urshifu, says Sergio. Well, good luck at college, Sergio. Okay, Galarian Slowking also getting Psyshock. Cool. Victini getting Psyshock. That is cool, because if Confusion is indeed 14 energy generating, then that's Psyshock after 3, which is pretty cool. Delphox, I built both a Delphox and whatever the under evolution of it is, which is Braixen, or Braixen. I don't know how to say that one. Braixen? Braxian? Can't remember. Delphox runs Fire Spin, Psyshock, Blast Burn. I'm actually just going to get up the name of the other one. Is it Braixen? 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 That runs Ember, Psyshock, and Flamethrower, but doesn't have Psychic defensive typing. So you lose the stab, but you lose your sucky Psychic type defensive typing. And Aromatisse, which I assume would run Thunderbolt as its coverage attack, which I don't think will be relevant. That sounds like a bad Ninetales, says Sergio. But Sergio, what if you had both? Okay, Rock Tomb onto Druddigon. Now, Rock Tomb's a 50 energy attack, so Druddigon with 12 energy Dragon Tail is really not benefiting. Same with all of these rest of these Rock Tomb users, actually. But imagine if Dragon Tail is 13. If Dragon Tail is 13, and these dragons are hitting Rock Tomb after 4 Dragon Tails, oh baby. That is interesting. Especially because this little Tyrant, more so than the Tyrantrum, this little Tyrant is getting Stab. I say more so than the Tyrantrum because it's got more bulk. Tyrant with Stab, Rock Tomb, after 4 Dragon Tails is funny. And we do like funny. So watch this space. Hi Freed, please convince them to give us Charm Dugong. Is that good for Dugong? If Charm is only 7 energy generating, and you have to do 7 charms to get to your Icy Wind? I don't know if you do. I don't know if that's a good thing, Joe. Do we want Shadow or regular Tyrant, though? I mean... What is a Tyrant stat product? 1800? Yeah, it's 1800 stat product. Sounds to me like you just go for the Shadow. Yeah. What's Tyrantrum stat product? Oh, heck yeah, 1742. That's my kind of range. Let's do this. Can we please give Tyrantrum Psychic Fangs? I'm going to quickly add that to my list. That's already on my list. Okay. Psychic Fangs Tyrantrum. Objectively cool. Okay. Where were we? Okay, we're now off onto the bottom of the list that you can't really see and I haven't worked out how to... Wait, what if I do this? Oh no, he's still disappearing. No, that didn't work. What if I do this? Nope. If I do this? No. No, that's also not working. Okay. It won't let me scroll down, so I'm just going to tell you. The next one is Rock Wrecker Crustle. I remember some people raving about Rock Wrecker Crustle. Is that because it sims particularly well? Because I remember when I asked for Rock Wrecker Crustle, it was more a case of it'll be funny, more than because I actually thought it would be good. Because if I wanted it to be good, I would have just said Rock Tomb Crustle, obviously. That ain't good. That is not good. I'd go so far as to say that that's bad. Oh dear. Okay, what do we need to help Crustle with? Let's check our coverage calculator. So we know that Crustle is running a Rock and Bug moveset. Oh wait, does it run Smackdown? Surely not. Right, surely you want to hit Rock Wrecker as fast as possible. That's what you'd want. Okay, Rock and Bug is resisted by a lot of Pokemon. What type do we think, if we had to guess? First one to get this correct, I will shout out you. The question is, I am going to go through every single one of these types. I want you to tell me which type I will click on to get the lowest number in this not very effective and no effect categories combined. So currently, Rock and Bug is 122. As quickly as you can, the first one to say which one is correctly giving us the best 3-way coverage, shout out to you. So I'm going to start going through them now. So normal takes us down to 65. Fire takes us down to 10. Water to 16. Electric to 34. Grass to 49. Ice to 49. Fighting to 23, poison to 75, ground. Guys, what are you doing? Little Winery, shout out to Little Winery. Ground type coverage gives Crustle perfect coverage. Are there any other zeros? I doubt it. Flying, 52, Psychic, 50, Ghost, 4. Home Slice Henry, you're pretty close with Ghost. Dragon, 51. Dark, 66. Steel, 50. Fairy, 50. So we click Ground, and then I go to Cerebi. And I go, guys, this is how I suggest moves. It's really not that complicated. I then go Crustle, Cerebi, and I click on it. And I scroll to see what ground types attacks it can learn. And I go, Sand Attack, that's interesting. It's not very good though. And then I keep scrolling. Sand Tomb, also pretty bad. Stomping Tantrum. And I write a note to myself that when we release Stomping Tantrum, we should give it to Crossle. Earthquake. Is there anything else here? Those are the max attacks. They're irrelevant. Ideally, we would have a cheap ground attack. That would be ideal. Like a 40 to 45 energy ground type attack would be the absolute dream for Crossle. Because you want to keep... Ooh, Bulldoze. You want to keep X-Scissor because you want to get to Rock Wrecker as fast as possible. Sorry. You want to keep Fury Cutter because you want to get to Rock Wrecker as fast as possible. And you can have any move that it's ever had as a potential option for it. Tectonic Rage. That's a Z move. Dig. Is Dig 50-80 at the moment? Oh my goodness. Guys, Gligar is pretty dead after the Aerial Ace nerf. What if we suggested a Dig buff and then giving Dig to Crossle? That would be funny. Will there be a VOD saved of today's stream? I hope so. I've usually got them saved on Twitch, and if they're not on Twitch, then they're on YouTube. But usually I also get them banned all the time for some reason, probably for playing music and not caring to take the music out. But it's also a very long stream, so I forgive whoever is needing to go back through this. Because we have covered a lot today. What is Rototiller? Rototiller. Sounds cool. I want that to come into the game. Anyway, watch this space, guys. Get a good Crossle, because one day your boy will manage to get it a good ground attack. Maybe Dig is the way. Maybe we need to buff Dig again. New attacks are not that likely at the moment. They seem to spend ages before they release new attacks. I know someone mentioned Chilling Water was coming soon, but otherwise it takes ages to get new attacks through, so I wouldn't hold your breath on new attacks. Okay, what was next? Okay, the next one on the list, which you still can't see because it's just dropped below, Sandtomb, Flygon, and Crocodile. I'm not immediately jumping to either of these as being relevant. Mudslap, Nidoqueen, and Torterra, 2 new Mudslappers. You guys know that I have been asking for Mudslap Torterra for ages. And if I were running Torterra, I would probably not run Sandtomb on it. One thing that's interesting about Torterra, I assume the big old PV Poke nerds amongst you will have already checked this. But look at this. Corviknight, we know, is doing resisted damage into a grass type Torterra with Sand Attack, right? And it only does 1 damage. And the Mudslaps are doing 6 damage. So you're doing actually more damage with Mudslap than you are with Sand Attack. But even the Shadow Torterra is only taking 1 damage from Sand Attack. And so you become way less RPS into a Corviknight. Where's my Stone Edge? So what happens if you have... Can you ever win? You can't win, realistically, but you can put out... Wait, is this going to run Sky Attack? If I just change this to Sky Attack, how much does Sky Attack do? You still lose, but like, if you can farm something down, if you can farm down their K-Whack and threaten with a Stone Edge and get out, like you're putting decent, you're taking this Corviknight pretty low. Which for a grass ground is not horrendous. So I'm curious. Obviously this is your losing matchup, right? This is on paper, you're supposed to be your worst matchup, is your grass ground into the Steel Flyer, but if your Mudslaps are doing okay damage and your Stone Edge is doing 50% to a Corviknight, it's not terrible. Bear in mind Torterra has the approximate bulk of a Shadow for Alligator at 1888. It's more bulky than for Alligator. Interesting. What about the other one, Nidoqueen? Forget 5 into Poison Fang. Mud Slap, it's only 4 into Poison Fang. Okay, well, we're not going to test it against a 0 shield for Alligator. That's not helpful. What about in the 2s? Oh, heck yeah! You can just Mud Slap Poison Fang through a Feraligatr? Oh, baby! 1, 2, 3, 4, Poison Fang. Let's actually put the Poison Fang in. What if they no shield it? What happens? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then they would throw 1, 1, 2. Oh, you don't throw it. You wouldn't throw up to 4. That's why it doesn't do it. Duh. Okay. Either way, you can just Mud Slap through this Feraligatr. But this time you have access to Stone Edge. And so if you're up against a Lapras, what happens? Well, you're taking super effective from every single one of its attacks, so you ideally don't want to be against this thing. But let's say you throw a Stone Edge here, and they no-shield it. Bonk! So you invite a shield. Obviously, you're giving a shield, like here. You're giving a shield. But then, just before, or at any point, pretty much, if you Stone Edge, oh, look at that, 70%, it disappears. Will Confusion and Water Pulse improvements make a significant change to XL Slowpoke's viability? That is a great question. Slowpoke. Slowpoke. 1386. Best Buddy. 1872. Stat product running Confusion, Psyshock, Water Pulse. 95 defense. I think you could run a triple slow team. Because Confusion would hit Psyshock in 3. It's not great coverage. And then it would hit Water Pulse in 4. 4 times 14 is 56. I mean, you can run this right now anyway. Yeah, I'm sure you have. Slow King. This is Galarian Slow King, and it's going to have Psyshock, which this is pretty good coverage. You could run regular Slow King, I guess. You probably don't want to. You could run... Can you run Slowbro? Where's our Slowbros? Galarian Slowbro with the new Confusion into Brutal Swing. That's 3 Confusions. Drain Punch now. Do you go back to Scald? These are some weird Pokemon. These are probably some of the only Pokemon in the game that when they come out, I forget what typing I'm dealing with. When a Poison Psychic type comes out, I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to be using against a Poison Psychic type? The slows are going to be funny, all of them. Okay, what was next? Nidoqueen. Okay, Hyperfang Pachirisu is next on this list, which is good because Hyperfang at 50 and Thunder Punch at 40 with Volt Switch doing more damage means that Pachirisu could be meta. It becomes viable. But more excitingly than that, Swift Kingdra. Kingdra reaching a Swift in 4.5 seconds. Shadow Gyarados, bear in mind, also reaching Aqua Tail in 4.5 seconds. Both of those could be funny. And then the last 2 here are just Dodrio, Trailblaze, and Upper Hand Kommo-o. And then the next and final one is Aura Sphere, Raikou. So you now have perfect coverage with a Raikou running Volt Switch, which has also just been buffed, Shadow Ball, Aura Sphere. They are perfect coverage. Not necessarily efficient though. Celebi, if Seed Bomb is 35, and with access to Dazzling Gleam and 14 Energy Confusion, could be funny. Jirachi, with 3 Confusions to a Doom Desire and access to Dazzling Gleam could be funny. I would expect Aura Sphere to be 45. If I had to guess, Aura Sphere will be a Draw Run clone, 4580. Tell you what though, it's not unthinkable for Aura Sphere to be a Hydro Cannon clone. That's not unthinkable. I don't think it will be, but I don't think it would be horrendous. But I think 45 is probably most likely. Aura Sphere, Latias and Latios, both of them using energy generating Dragon Breaths now, is pretty cool. So Latias, for example, getting to Mist Ball and Aura Sphere is cool. Latios could run Dragon Claw or Luster Purge. Luster Purge, 60 energy attack, and you're getting to it in what? 14 seconds? No, that doesn't sound right. 7 seconds? 14 Dragon Breaths? 15. Okay, 7.5 seconds for Latios to get to. Is Great League Latios going to be viable? Probably not. Bear in mind, Psychic typing is bad. Psychic defensive typing in Pokemon GO is really, really bad. Cresselia was one of few Pokemon to get away with it. Deoxys Defense was one of few Pokemon to get away with it. Not many other Pokemon get away with being Psychic type. It's a really bad defensive typing. All of these Drain Punches are useless up until Drain Punch gets buffed, if it gets buffed. Otherwise, it's just using more TMs, which is annoying. And Thunder Punch Dragonite is really good. Thunder Punch Dragonite is reaching these Thunder Punches in 5 seconds. So Dragonite becomes faster and gets better coverage. Yeah, Malamar is a good example actually, because it's the Psychic type that isn't weak to Ghost or Dark. It's not just compensating Dragon Claw though. You're actually making Dragonite faster than it currently is. Dragonite gets buffed because of this. Because now you can spam, look at it, look at this, look at this, look. Azumarill into a Dragonite, right? In the 2 shields, Dragonite wins. Dragonite is outpacing to the 3rd Ice Beam. Thunder Punch is doing 38%. So whoever thinks Azu is still viable, like, it's still an Azumarill, I guess, but like, this is exactly what I meant when I said they're diversifying dragons. And when your dragon that is still running Dragon Breath is able to take on your Azumarill like this, that's pretty funny. That's pretty cool. Imagine loading energy on a Dragonite and your opponent goes, oh, I'm going to jump in with my Azu. And you're like, okay, it takes me 3 Thunder Punches to take you out. Or, in the 2 shields, only 2 Thunder Punches to take you out. Because my attack is high enough that Dragon Breath is still doing 2 damage per Dragon Breath. Crazy, isn't it? So there are now a huge suite, and let's not forget Gyarados, right? Let's not forget how good Gyarados is going to be as well. There's another core for you. Gyarados and Torterra core. That might be copium. But on paper, that makes sense. They might be too squishy to be a real core, but they do cover each other pretty well. Dragonite will outpace most of the dragons and beat flyers. And beat fires. Why not for OGL? Come look at this matrix. Here's your Gyarados. Here's your Shadow Gyarados, and here's your Shadow Torterra. Right? Don't run Sand Tomb. Don't waste your time. You want Stone Edge. We want coverage here. We don't want to play RPS approach at all. We're just going to kick it into the whatever it says rankings top 100, right? Now, what I want you to look for is how many times do we see pink? How many times do we see loss? Okay? First one, Wigglytuff. We don't believe that Charm is 9, so I'm going to ignore this. I don't care about this Wigglytuff, right? Keep going. Cover each other, cover each other, cover each other, cover each other. Darkspun. We don't agree that Charm is going to be 9. We can ignore this one. Lapras. That's fair. Lapras can potentially take on both, but both can potentially put in work against Lapras as well. You're not being like hard hit by the Lapras. You know, Lapras can't take a Frenzy Plant, for example. Galarian Corsola, but look how close that one is here. So this one's pretty close. So we've got 2 Pokemon so far. Machoke, which is not real. Machoke is not real, and I'm not accepting that Machoke is beating this or is existing in any formal capacity. Shadow Primeape. Again, look, this is a 2-shield scenario. Maybe it just gets a shield off the first Rage Fist or whatever it is, but you're not actually worried about Primeape either. Opposing Shadow Gary. Okay, whatever. What is this? Clefable, and we're not... actually, this is running Fairy Wind. I don't think Clefable's going to be in existence. Shadow Dusclops. Pretty close versus the Torterra, but good. Apparently Fortress might be invited to run Volt Switch now. That's just one thing to bear in mind, which would make it very bad against Torterra, but technically with Bug Bite and probably a Sand Tomb bait, you can take on the Gyarados. Look, and then there's one here. Togetic. I don't know if we're going to see any Togetic. It's not received a direct buff of any kind, so I don't know. Furret, maybe. But overall, there were quite few that took on both. There weren't very many. And of the ones that did, I think you can probably put a pick in that can take them both. Also, Dragonite's... this Shadow Gyarados' win rate is incredible. Wow, Shadow Gary is really good. You will need shields for it. But it's really good. Why would you want to use Goodra over Shadow Dragonite? I guess you've got Aqua Tail, which is really quick. But you've got no real damage output, especially once your Dragon Breath reduces in damage, right? Do you want Goodra? What are the viable dragons? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to press @Dragon. Regidrago at number 8 is confusing to me. When you've got an environment where there are so many variable dragons, to have the single type dragon seems strange. But we'll see. Guzzlord, fair enough. Dragon Tail 3 into Brutal Swing. I mean, just use Shadow Salamence, baby. Lapras. If Dragon Pulse is 50, Lapras could run Dragon Pulse. Honestly, even maybe not at 55, but at 50, you're possibly running Dragon Pulse. Ice Beam is stab as well, actually. It might depend on how popular Lapras is if you want the coverage into the mirror. Giratina Altered can still go for Shadow Claw or Dragon Breath. Bear in mind, Dragon Breath now has the same parameters as Shadow Claw, but is more flexible. Dragon Pulse is Legacy, yes. So is Ice Beam. Bear in mind. Como, sick. Coolmon, going to be awesome. Consider running Metal Sound on it if you want to. Turtonator, also sick. Wait, Gastrodon, is that just Hidden Power Dragon? Yeah, you don't have any Dragon Charge types, cool. Gyarados, going to be cool. Shadow Dragonair with Aqua Tail and Wrap. Could be interesting. Hakamoa, if Dragon Tail is 13, Hakamoa could be funny, getting to Rock Tomb after 4. Dragonite with with Thunder Punch now. Did we say Goodra? Where was Goodra? Goodra's down here. Okay. Kingdra, Dragon Breath into Swift is cool. Do you run Outrage or do you go, I'm Kingdra, so I may as well run my Octazooka? Who knows? Zweilous, running Dragon Breath Body Slam, and if Dragon Pulse is buffed to 50, you'd run Dragon Pulse over Dark Pulse, because you'd probably run Guzzlord if you want the Dark Pressure. Altaria, if Sky Attack comes down to 45, Altaria jumps up dramatically. Lugia, I don't think is going to be relevant for Great League, but Dragon Tail will help it a lot in Master League. Togetic we saw in The Sims, but I don't know if Togetic's going to be relevant. You guys know that I brought a Togetic to a regional before, and San Diego just played hard ABA into me anyway, so what was the point? Fearow has Twister, that's its only dragon attack, so we'll ignore that one. Goodra, I mean, Goodra is bulky, I guess. 1878. I don't know what. Okay, David, you tell me. Why would you run a Goodra over an Altaria? Or any other dragon? Like, you're not even that much bulkier than a Dragonair. I mean, you are, but Dragonair's cooler. What else? Arctibax. That's interesting. Icy Wind Arctibax. Interesting. Dragalge also hitting. Dragalge? G or G? Algae. Dragalge? I don't know. With Aquatail and... Ooh, we got Focus Blast. Would you... Yeah, but you can't say... But the problem, Lil Winery, the problem is, now that I've said Dragalge and Dragalge, I've forgotten how to pronounce algae and algae. And I think it's algae. But now I've said it so many times that I've forgotten which one's correct out of those two as well. Okay, if Dragon Tail is 12, then you miss your Focus Blast. But if it's 13, you hit your Focus Blast at 6. Why? Can someone explain to me why Dragal, question mark, has 3 75 energy attacks? If Dragon Tail is 13, that Focus Blast Dragalge, or Galgi, is real. I'm now needing to Google how to pronounce. It's G, algae. Dragalge. Is that what I was saying? I don't know what I was saying anymore. Dragalge. Okay. Water. I'm falling down my chair at this point. Poison is offensively bad, especially as a dragon type. You don't even need it a lot of the time, unless the fairy meta becomes too strong. Oh, you don't take super effective from Dedenne. Remember that. So if Dedenne is really popular, then you could just run Sludge Bomb. Also, actually, valid point. If Dragon Tail is 13, you're hitting a Sludge Bomb after 4. Can you ask Daddy Niantic nicely if we can have our Ilum trick back? Henry, I think they are hoping that they will fix one-turn lag as part of the new framework for when level 80 comes out. I think they want to fix PvP at a similar time. I think. I don't know. My assumption is that there'll be something around then. Also, if you're not running Sludge Bomb, why even run it over other dragons? Well, it depends. Do you want your poison typing as a defensive typing versus fairies and fighting types? Maybe not. So yeah, maybe you do run this. Although why is it only ranking at 135? That's pretty sucky. You're only 1900 star product, yes. Oh, Henry, this is the magic, right? It's only 2 months of lag if you turn the game on. Think about that, okay? Think about that. Because I've had no one-turn lag for the last 2 months. So, I'm just saying. Hey, there he is, Shadow Salamence. Coming in the top 150, I might add. Does he know what I do for a living? No. I don't. I assume that you just, I don't know, work in a pizza shop. I have no idea. Either way, you should cast more. And you should cast with me. That's what you should do. Tell Daniel to put us on an event together. You make videos? Wait, are you a famous YouTuber? Okay, Agron. Can we give Agron a bait attack, please? So that I can run Agron in every event. Thank you. A Bomber Snow with new leafage and new Weather Ball. Do you need Energy Ball? Maybe. If Lapras is common, yes. If Lapras isn't common, could you run double ice? Who knows? Hydreigon with the Dragon Breath Brutal Swing, and this needs a coverage move to be relevant. I was thinking about Milotic. Lawrence, thanks very much, dude. Good night. New cup just data mined. Dragon, flying, ghost, ice, and psychic. Whoa, another cup that I'm not going to play? That's crazy. Dragon Tail, Surf, and Wrap. If Dragon Tail... I mean, it doesn't matter actually what Dragon Tail is. These are both 45 energy attacks. Milotic's cool. Palkia? Ranking lower than Kingdra, right? Where's my Kingdra? Kingdra's up here. Get out of here, Palkia. You're not needed anymore. Shadow Charizard on the Sims is running Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, but it will surely drop Dragon Claw for Air Cutter, and then it'll be between Ember and Dragon Breath, which very helpfully are both Elite TM attacks. Wonderful stuff. Drampa with new... Wait, what? Why would this run Dragon Pulse? You're obviously going to run Fly. Surely. Otherwise, what's the point of you? I don't know. It doesn't really make a difference. Okay, we're now in terrible territory, so I don't think we need to worry about a lot of these. I'm going to run Sceptile though. Salazzle buff? Question mark. Dragon Pulse at 50 energy. Poison Fang. No, that's terrible. Hey, Dragapult could be good. Because it's still reaching Breaking Swipe around the same pace it would have anyway. And this time you're just guaranteeing the buff. Shelgon. Beautiful. I think Togekiss is going to run Peck. Why have they released Dondozo so... Wow, Dondozo's bulky. Wait, what could Dondozo be given to make it relevant? Surely something. Right, I think that's probably everything. Justice for Arbok. Dondozo needs Chilling Water. Yeah, but, okay, Henry, let's slow down a second. Firstly, Dondozo has more than enough water attacks. What we need to be doing is working out how to diversify it. Secondly, Chilling Water is a guaranteed debuff attack. And I think that it would be better used on Pokemon that are either non-stab users, i.e. non-water Pokemon, or the squishy water Pokemon. And that would be a better way to diversify Chilling Water. Otherwise, if you give Chilling Water to a bulky water type that gets stab and gets immense bulk because of the Chilling Water, Dondozo just becomes the premium Chilling Water user, and you almost will never use Chilling Water elsewhere. So I would prefer for Chilling Water only to be given to squishy Pokemon, non-stab Pokemon, with the odd exception for a Pokemon that's obscenely cool, but realistically, that's going to be a squishy, non-stat water Pokemon. You weren't watching the beginning. Am I running Triple Ice on Alolan Ninetales after the update, or Charm? Well, Thomas, I'm very unlikely to be running an Alolan Ninetales, but I would probably be running Charm at 7 energy, Weather Ball at 35, and Psyshock at 40 is what I would guess I would run if I were running Alolan Ninetales. I can't remember what is being given Chilling Water. Is it Florges? Okay, it's still on Trailblaze here. But Chilling Water would be probably good because you're no longer walled by steel. Overall, I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic about this update. I think that it will make I think it will allow for a lot more diversity in teams. I imagine GPL might be a bit of chaos because you'll also have to be learning a lot of different Pokemon. There's a PV poke bug where if you try to sim with Chilling Water, it's 55 damage, but list damage is 60. Outrageous. Just can't get the staff these days, you know. I really, really, really wish Charm wasn't put at 9 energy on these rankings. Because I know we can make our own, but they don't have the weighting for when you make custom rankings properly. And I think it's just annoying because Charm is just not going to be 9 energy. In terms of team building and Show 6, I guess once we get the move update, when's it going to be? Like the 4th of September or something. I don't actually know when it'll be. But whenever we get that update, then once we've got parameters confirmed, that's probably when it's worth starting to think about teams, because there were some of the updates in there that will be quite significant for, you know, if Water Pulse is 45, if Dragon Tail is 13, etc. So otherwise, I was thinking of doing some GBL, but I'm getting hungry and tired, and I'm losing my voice. And I'm going to check how many... Hey, okay, I'm up to 2877 since I was veteran yesterday. So I'll be fine. I'm sure I'll be fine. If anyone has a good team for me to use if I play before I go to bed, then I might consider it. But I probably won't play today anyway, so there's no rush. If anyone wants to know what I have been using to get from 2500 to... No, I was a bit higher than that. I was like mid-veteran. And I'd done 2 days. What was I using? I was playing Master League. And I was using... Togekiss, Healthy, with Aura Sphere and Psyshock, Reshiram with Dragon Breath, and Crunch and Fusion Flare, and then Best Buddy Ho-Oh in the... no, I think I had my Reshiram as my Best Buddy. Best Buddy Reshiram, and then Ho-Oh in the back. And I was using Togekiss because I kept facing Rhyperior leads or Palkia leads. Reshiram I would then use as the safe swap to draw out the Crown Zacian or Zacian, and then they would have to give me a shield on my Fusion Flare because they would very quickly realise that close combat doesn't knock me out, and Behemoth Blade is resisted by my Reshiram. And Crunch was because I was facing... what was I using Crunch for? Crunch because I wanted faster pacing into Kyogre, and because I once one-shot a Lunala and it made me laugh a lot. I think that was what happened. And I just want to show you my Reshiram before we finish for today. What a beautiful Pokemon. Wow. Lovely. Yeah, I think Reshiram is cool. I had actually wanted Reshiram to be given Dragon Claw, but I don't think that's necessary. Wait, hold on a minute. Reshiram's going to be really good with new Dragon Breath. That's exciting. Fine, I'll play one battle. You're rank 16. You can get to rank 20 for sure before the end of. Wait, where do you get more dust? Do you have to hit ace? You get more dust at the end of the season. I'm gonna have to start a new water bottle. My voice is going. Do you want to hear something interesting? Our first event of the season is the 13th of September. It is currently unclear whether Aircutter Corviknight is going to be legal for that event, because the new rules that were announced said it has to be Tuesday 2 weeks from release. But does that mean the second Tuesday, or does that mean 2 weeks and then the following Tuesday? This is a great way to play this game. This is a really healthy way to play this game. GBL is just the pinnacle of skill expression and fun. And anyone who thinks otherwise is wrong. So yeah, Corviknight releases on the 31st of August. I believe the Tuesday after that is the 4th of September, right? Now, when it says the Tuesday 2 weeks after release, is the Tuesday that's a couple of days afterwards, is that the first week Tuesday? I think it is arguable. Some people feel that 2 weeks need to have passed and then it's the Tuesday, but it's unclear. So Triptando thinks that it's ineligible, and that's why he told me it's ineligible. And I was like, press X for doubt. And so I submitted a ticket and said, hey guys, can we please escalate this to your head of esports, please? And they said, this is a good question. We will escalate, but they're currently on holiday. And once they've escalated, we will see what the answer is. Triptando's ticket was to a random member of Niantic support. That is not a relevant escalation to me. Okay. Admittedly, whatever my attack was here, it's being resisted by this Urshifu. How are they able to switch out and I'm so far behind? What did I do wrong? Did I? What happened there? They were... Oh no, I switched out, then they switched. Okay. Problem is here is they probably have a Palkia in the back, and then I'm in trouble. Yeah. That's not ideal. I don't think I'm going to win this, guys. Unless... No, I didn't even have it. Did I have an attack on my Togekiss? I don't think I did. Hold. Hold. No, I can't win. If I get a shield here, can I win? No, my switch clock's not up. I really needed that to be up. How close? No, because they're not even in... I don't have Flamethrower. I have Aura Sphere. Sad for me. God, Charm sucks. They should buff Charm. People are obsessed with Mewtwo. Hey, this time next year, I reckon we'll all have Mega Mewtwo's. So, if you think Mewtwo is common now, wait until whatever they give to Mewtwo next year as part of their 10-year anniversary. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets Aura Sphere, Mega, maybe Psywave, I don't know. I think they'll do a lot with Mewtwo next year. I think next year will be the summer of Mewtwo. Remember their very first release, centered around players gathering in a city to take on Mewtwo. It would be very fitting for Mewtwo to be the centerpiece of their 10-year anniversary. Uh-oh, I can't switch out. It's an outrageous bait. How much energy are they on? 165. I think they are on... Oh my god, 30. So they're 2 away. Right, we're sacking this Reshiram. I'm sorry, Reshiram. This was a necessary sacrifice. I've lost. Because if they've got the Crown Zacian in the back, I just lose. Wow, I still lose because I can't hit this thing either. Okay, Rhyperior safe swap is annoying. Oh dear, poor Reshiram. Double breaking swipe baits and nerfs was painful. Go wild area assets added. Does that mean anything for us? Do we care about that? Okay, mama in the house. Okay, Rhyperior in the lead is probably fine. Well, they probably have a Palkia in the back, so I kind of need to preserve this Togekiss. 4, 5, 6. Please don't bait me, I'll be sad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They should shield this. Get my last shield with a Rock Wrecker. Oh, okay. What are they coming in with here? I think I'm going to give both my shields here because it'll take them. They have to switch now. 2, 3, 4. Can I get my switch down? 5. Oh, they bulldoze me? Hold on a minute. Can I get back into my Togekiss? 1. Two, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is a crunch or a bulldoze. Ho-Oh is on 5 energy. 1, 2, it's on 45 energy. Safari Balls is cool because it means they might re-release Mighty Pokemon, and Mighty Pokemon are cool. Okay, 45 energy. 65, so this is what, your Sacred Fire? And now you're on 0 again. So you're going to try and incinerate me down? Probably. 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. Oh wait, hold on a minute. Your Zygardes are dead. That's fine. I'm fine. Give me my incinerate. No! No! Okay, losing an incinerate is not helpful in this situation. Yeah. Have you guys been dealing with this for 2 months then? I can understand why there's frustration. And I remember why I stopped playing GBL. I might just try and catch one of these onto the Reshiram actually, and delay the switch clock a little bit. Even though I don't really want... Because I think there's a Palkia in there. Yeah, there is. I knew it. I knew it. Have to shield this because otherwise the Kyogre just waterfalls me down. Wait, if they have a Zacian in the back, I lose anyway. Please come in with Kyogre. Please come in with Kyogre. Cool. Uh-oh. I have to go to her now. Uh-oh, I have to Brave Bird them. Oh wait, I'm gonna lose anyway, so it's all good. Yeah, I think I'll lose. How much energy are they on? Yeah, they're just gonna kill my Togekiss as well. Boo! Maybe I should run a Kyogre with a Palkia core. I think, should I purify a Kyogre? Would you guys hate me? That team looked quite good. Kyogre Double Dragon. Wow, I lost so much Hilo. Okay, so I've got this Kyogre, which is not good, but was shiny. But then I also have this Kyogre, which is surely unusable. at 14, 14, 15. So do I purify this one? Question mark. What was this one? Or do I purify this one? This one I'm never using. Surely I purify this one. I'm gonna purify it. Okay. Brink. Do we run Return Kyogre? I don't think so. What do we want on it instead of Return? Wow, it's cheaper to power up. Wonderful stuff. Okay, we have a new Kyogre. I need to buddy this at some point. Return just for content? I mean, when am I ever using Return? I think Return probably does less than Origin Pulse and is more expensive. So do I run Origin Pulse? Or do I run Thunder? What do we think? What's the best? No, I think I've got a decent number of TMs at the moment. I've got 84. Oh god, I'm going to go through those so quickly with the move update. Against Palkia? What was the name of the previous song? I'll play it again for you. Hey guys, shall I use this Palkia? Do I use my Shundo Palkia with my Shundo Reshiram? Yeah, let's buddy you though. The name of the song is Figure You Out. It's in that corner down there, if you see, like the corner of the stream in the corner. I know, I wish I could. Right, one more set. Is this a bonus dust week? No, I'll just do a normal set. Okay, what did we say? Oh, they're there. Kyogre. Palkia. Reshiram. Let's do it. Let's do it. Someone is tagging me on Discord telling me to give Dugong Charm. Oh, it's Joe. Of course it is. Right. Let's do this. This is a good lead. We resist steel. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The best this can be is a thunder, and it won't take me out. Give Basti metal sound. Does it learn it? Does it learn metal sound? 1, 2, 3. Cool. And we've got one for their Palkia as well. Bonk. Oh wait, no, they didn't have a Palkia, it was a Transition. That's fine, because 2, 3, 4. What do we reckon's in the back for them? Probably their own Palkia. 5, 6, 7. Can't actually see half of their animations, but maybe I'm blind. 8, 9, 10. It has to be a Palkia in the back. Ha! My one turn lag meant that this waterfall is going to do more damage. Is it worth throwing the crunch? Maybe I mean I could have just shielded this and Dragon Breath them down, I guess, and then the. I think I can just waterfall them down anyway. Big Kyogre. Here is why we want a best buddy Dragon Breath user. Does that make a difference against an Origin Palkia? Metal Sound Basti. Would be funny. What would its win rate be? Would it be better or not actually that much better? Does it like having Smackdown? Hey, it's Mato. Cool. Good mon. What is this? This is Ice Fang, Iron Head close combat, right? What's it going to get with here? I think I might not win this. I'm not emotionally prepared for an Eternatus. Deny. Ha. I activated the deny. Two. What does this use? Do you reckon it has Outrage? 3, 4, 5. Please don't have Outrage. 6, 7. No! No! I'm about to be earthquaked! God damn. I was hoping that he'd throw the earthquake as I came in with the Kyogre. He's too good. Mudslap, Earthquake, Crocodile. What is that targeting? I guess the crown forms? I mean, even then. Wait. Guys, we're going to return this Kyogre. come back for it later. What the heck? What has everyone got Eternatus for? I think I accidentally charged up priority this. Oh, interesting. It's important that we return this code. And I don't think I've ever faced this before. Is this a Marshadow? God. Reshiram's too good. Okay. Whew. That was close. That return was pretty important, I have to say. We admittedly would have hit Thunderer quicker and done more damage with it, but we did just win with a return. I don't think I can get my Eternatus to more than level 42, so I can't use it. But that didn't look like it was maxed, because that was oh no, it was 4900 CP is about max, right? Oh, this is wonderful. This is perfect. Yeah, this is a good lead for us. What do we do, guys? Why are you using that? No way. I don't think I'm going to win this. Ouch. Does this do more? It's another stage resisted, but it is a spatial rend. Nope, that doesn't do that much. I'm going to lose, but I want to see what they've got in the back. I need to build a Tapu Bulu. Yeah, they probably were 50. Sanudigo, I didn't want return, okay? I was told to run return. I could really do with them being even that, I'm gonna lose. Who told me to do that? I don't know. Can we let's TM. I actually want to win this next game. So what do we want to run as our second attack? Blizzard? Nah. Let's go Thunder. Hydro Pump? Thunder. Alright, let's do this. We need to win this. We want to end on a win. Whew. We got this. We got this. Okay, question for you all. As soon as we start this game, as soon as you see the lead, I want you to guess what's in the back. At least one Pokemon. Guess at least one Pokemon that's in the back as soon as we see the lead. And then we might, if we can win, we can maybe end on around 28-50. You guys, you are allowed to wait until we see the lead, but Coldham, honestly, not a bad guess. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you. That's a pretty reasonable guess. And Palkia is only gonna get even stronger when it can start reaching Aqua Tails and Spatial Rens more quickly. Okay, I'm glad we put Thunder and not Return. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they're just gonna go fly. 7, 8. I hope they don't catch. I feel like this is a bait, but I can't risk it. I knew it. I'm trying to bait a Fire Blast here. I failed. Come on, Reshiram. I don't think I'm gonna win. God, I don't think I'm gonna win. Wait, did they just catch? I have no idea. I didn't see it. Okay. Can I survive the Ice Fangs? I don't think I can. No! No! That was so close. Good guesses though, guys. There was a Zacian in the back. don't know if I could have done anything differently. I took so much Lugia damage. I'm just going to throw away all my berries. Okay. That's fine. We've still got a week. We're good. And I'm going to make myself feel better by looking at my shundos. Right, guys, who shall we raid? What time is it? I need to go to sleep. I'm hungry though. Who is streaming? Let's go and ooh, we can raid Kashton. Okay, this is Fabian. He is a French player. He's quite funny. Right, team, thank you very much for tuning in. I know it was a long stream. Hopefully the VOD will go up and you can catch up on anything that you want to catch up on. We chatted through the new level system, the impact it might have on PvP, the briefly mentioned worlds and casting and my plan for the season. We mentioned all of the move updates, the impact, the meta, and then we played a little bit of GBL as well. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys soon.